Listen up, I gotta tell you, there is something you should know. I have never really liked you at all. I cannot hide it anymore. I've been thinking about the future, trying to forget about the past. So many ways that I could change for the better. Don't even know where to begin. If I allow myself to dream, will it be as good as it seems? Pull me out of this place in the middle, in the middle. Nothing more to embrace in the middle, in the middle. If I try to climb up the wall, everyone can see when I fall. Take me up into the mountains, send me off into the wild. Misery is still a path I would choose if the alternatives are worse. I guess it's time to find a friend, one who will stick by to the end. Going out of my mind in the middle, in the middle. Wasting all of my time in the middle, in the middle. I take the vibe and spit it out, unaware of what it's about. I'm not that good at faking it. I feel somehow I've broken it. I don't believe I'm part of it. In the If I try to climb up the wall, everyone can see when I fall. Nothing really matters at all. Pull me out of this place in the middle, in the middle. Nothing more to embrace in the middle, in the middle.
This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free.
Hey y'all, we came early a little bit so that we could watch a couple of videos real quick that I have on Sterns. Now I am on 2 pages that have him coming that are going to be streaming the pleading here live, so whichever one goes first we will definitely go to. I did not play the missing children's video because I haven't had time to redo it. I've had a bunch of real life stuff going on, so I will redo that by tonight and have it for tomorrow, when we'll probably continue to go over emails if we don't go over some today. It's so good to see you, Skits, Helen, Hannah, UK, Amanda, Jenny, Jim, my lovely heel, Sandra, Donna, Jay, You know what? I forgot to call you back yesterday. I was talking to you and I lost service when I was driving. Hobby Farmer, Sandra, Tom is here. Good to see you. Pandora, good to see you. Musically, Sarah, good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Southern Cats, good. There you are. Good to see you, Snarky. Miss Sarah's here. Snarky Pants. Kimmy C123. Dainty Dane. Sam Brown. Hi. Alfred plea and a no contest plea. You know, I heard that a lot out. Well, we're about to watch it. We're about to watch it about the Alfred plea. A name here. Good to see you. Sandra, good to see you. Are we hearing that it's going to be an Alfred plea? Wolfpack, good to see you. D, good to see you. It keeps jumping. A name here. Okay. Ashley, if one of the Ashleys is here, good to see you. I thought I saw an Ashley. If I missed you, let me know. Real quick, Cindy from sunny South Florida, because you are just so beautiful and so sweet. Gifted 5 memberships. I cannot, I said memberships. I'm not going to be able to see who those went to, but if you were gifted a membership from Cindy from sunny South Florida and you are aware you were gifted, please tell Miss Cindy thank you. Thank you, Miss Cindy. I'll quickly grab the crazy train to pick you up on the way to Speculation Station. I'm going off the rails on a crazy train. That was so very sweet and supportive of you, Miss Cindy. Thank you. I don't think that they will. We're about to watch it. Retired, not bored. Good to see you. And who else? Miss King of Anything. I saw that you strolled right on in. Teresa, M Face. Good to see y'all that are strolling on in. Helen McQueen. I like your name. It reminds me of Lightning McQueen. My son really liked those when he was little. Cindy, I greatly appreciate that. Again, that was so sweet. Okay, let's look at this video that I watched right here. And I haven't watched this one yet while we're waiting for them to go live. I wanted to talk to you guys about that. I haven't heard.
Stephan Rodriguez reporting for news.
I haven't heard that he's going to take. Hold on. Okay, it's not live. I'm going to get another video up for the court TV one. All right, let me go back. Okay. I haven't heard about the Alfred plea, but we're going to see what that entails too. This is what I heard, and it's going to give us an idea on some of the pleas. Abellis, good to see you. I don't know if I said hey to you. I appreciate y'all helping us understand the differences between the pleas. That is amazing of you guys. All right, so this is going to be from News 6 Orlando.
I'm Stephan Rodriguez reporting for News 6. On Monday, the man accused of raping and killing 13-year-old Madeline Soto will have a plea hearing just 24 hours before jury selection was set to begin in one of his trials. Now, he originally pled not guilty, and we did learn that his attorneys filed last-minute notices for both of the criminal cases, so it appears that he is going to change his guilty pleas tomorrow during that court hearing. In choosing that, he can either plead guilty or no contest. Now, I spoke to a local attorney about how this could all play out.
So right there, she said he could plead guilty or no contest. I didn't hear Alfred plea unless something has changed since this morning. AM, good to see you. Michelle, good to see you. Crystal, good to see you. Alana, good to see you. Thank y'all for being here.
Less than 24 hours before his first trial, Stephan Sterns is set to enter a new plea.
What are his options?
I sat down with Evan Self, a trial attorney not affiliated with the case, to discuss what he thinks Sterns' attorney might be planning. He explained Sterns could either plead guilty or no contest.
Let's say he gets, and the agreement is life in prison without the possibility of parole, then that would clearly be a reflection of a plea bargain.
If Sterns pleads no contest, he would go to prison for the crimes while not admitting guilt, but the judge would have to approve it.
And there are several judges in Orange and Osceola County who don't accept no contest pleas in many cases. And even though it's a perfectly acceptable, statutory approved plea, there are still some judges who won't accept that to certain crimes or just under certain circumstances.
Prosecutors announced they'd be seeking the death penalty for Sterns when he was scheduled to go on trial for murder later this year.
Do you think his attorneys are trying to stop him from ending up on death row?
Yeah, I think they're trying to, they think they've come up with the best strategy to save their client's life.
Now, real quick, I'll flip to this. Looks like we do have some action in the courtroom. Let's see. Nothing's there yet. Okay, I'm going to try to finish out this video while I watch on this page to see if we get any action. Okay? But I'm watching it, guys.
Now we just got to see what exactly that is.
Exactly.
Before that trial, prosecutors were planning to try him for sex crimes, with jury selection starting Tuesday. Self isn't surprised this change is happening just before Sterns is set to face a jury of his peers.
Oftentimes, good plea negotiations are the results of long-term communications between the defense and the prosecution, and it ultimately gets to the point of, now we're about to go to trial.
Right. It's now or never.
That's right. And it doesn't happen until that moment of decision gets really close.
Prosecutors and Sterns' public defender did not tell us if a plea agreement has been reached. That hearing is set for 1:30 on Monday. Reporting in the newsroom, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
So as you heard there's a lot of attorneys that a lot of judges in that area that do not accept no contest pleas. I'm going to look up the difference between the two real quick. This is what we have on Court TV. I have it up on my phone. I am looking. I'm going to start this other video. I'm not going to guarantee that we're going to get through all of it, but I would like to see if we can get an idea of what's going to happen. So we're going to jump back over here real quick.
And accused of killing 13-year-old.
What these people have to say. Hold on. We got it. Hold on.
Have to do these motions. Sometimes like in this type of case, it scores so much prison time or life that there's nothing to lose. You might as well keep going forward and hope that the state will buckle down later and say, listen, we're going to give you a better deal. But the issue you make all these motions is because you don't want it set up for a failure later for appellate reasons.
Now this video we're watching is live Stephan Sterns plea hearing, so they're going to be live. This is previously recorded. They're playing this. We can watch this real quick because this is going to be the most up-to-date information we have on it. Oh,
if
hold
as a
on.
defense attorney, if you don't challenge all.
Here we go. Let me close out of that. All right. Let's watch this stupid piece of crap. Walk in the courtroom. Here we are. Oh, let me put y'all's comments up. Deal with the monster himself. Jen's not going to show up. I can almost guarantee it. I know a few people. Hey, MK Connecticut. Good to see you. I know a few people who said they were going to go to the trial, but aren't there yet. Or they might be there. I'm not sure. It was kind of a last minute. It's about time. Good to see you. I don't think Jen's going to show up either. She is a bigger coward than him. I mean, you can't handle public backlash for after you let your child go upstairs to sleep with him, after oogling over him together, talking about the Electra complex, even the Woody Allen comment. But we're going to talk about specifically Maddie, okay? You have a child that you're oogling, quote unquote, over the same man that is your age, and you're going to say she has an Electra complex, which number one, Freud said happened between ages 3 and 5, and number two has been disproven since then. You're going to send that child up to bed with him, knowing that you have oogled over him together, and you think she has an Electra complex, and you can't face the public after making those decisions. I'm sorry, but absolutely not. Her mom is there already. Maddie's father and stepmom are there too. Good. I figured Tyler would show up. That's true, MK Connecticut. The damage was done long before the homicide, but that's what upsets me about this case and Naziah Harris. Especially Naziah Harris, she's with child, okay? You've already got charges. Just go to jail, do your time. If Naziah chose to have the baby, let her have the baby, put the baby up for adoption, and then let the healing process start. Oh, there's the man from the news right there in the front row. Did he walk in and I missed it? No. Okay. There him is. Oh, looking like death becomes him. Look at him, so sad. I got the volume's on. They just haven't turned it on yet on Court TV. There he is. Oh, he's angry. He didn't look at the camera today. He looks angry. He looks hurt. He deserves it. Got some long eyelashes. It's weird to me on guys.
State of Florida versus Stephan Sterns.
Don't play with the audio.
CF 123 2024, CF 632. Appearance for the record beginning with the state, please.
Danielle Pennell.
William J.
They better fix that
We have
audio.
the defense.
Alicia Smith. Beth Borden.
Peter Mills, Alex Johnson.
Ms. Walker might be via.
Hey, Ava. Hey, Jay. Alex, I saw you came in. Hey. I was wondering. I don't think so. I didn't see him.
We have an online presence named Stephanie. Is that representative from the survivor family?
Yeah, sure.
Stephanie. I think that's Jen's sister. Online presence.
An online presence, Stephanie.
Who is Stephanie? That's the sister, right? Jen's sister? Hey, Bazard. That's Jen's sister. Okay, that's what I thought. Hey, Nessa. Forbin, good to see you. Shaker. I think that's the stepsister, Connecticut. He has a very punchable face.
Court has received 2 plea forms, one for each of the cases for CF 1293, 2024, CF 632. The court has also received an addendum to the plea form. Ms. Borden, Ms. Smith, do you wish to walk me through the terms of the agreement?
Yes, Judge. In exchange, Mr. Sterns will be entering a plea in the 693 case. The counts 1 through 20 will still be on the counsel and no process 21 through 60. Settlement concurrently with the 1293 case and adjudication of the life concurrent, and then officially.
Thank you. And state as to the addendum. I'm going to ask the folks that have joined us remotely to please mute their microphones.
An addendum would mean addendum. Is that a change to it?
Any special considerations in the addendum to the plea form?
No, Your Honor, we are just incorporating the plea addendum into.
So there's some kind of change. Do you know that? Because I know the plea was supposed to be for both. if he pleads no contest and Judge Karsten accepts that, I will throw my computer out the damn window. There will be no more allegedly speculating. I will just get so angry, my little southern head will pop.
State of Florida filed a notice of intent to seek the penalty of death. That was on June 7th, 2024. Is the state formally going to be withdrawing that notice of intent to seek the penalty of death?
After the acceptance of the plea announcement.
Thank you. Should that announcement be made by the state of Florida, the proposed sentence will be the maximum sentence allowed by law. I'm going to place you under oath.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to enter into this case to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. I have two plea forms in my hand. One document looks like this. Second document looks like this. They're each plea forms for your respective cases. They each have a signature. That signature is the same on both plea documents. That signature is next to my finger. Can you tell me if that is your signature?
It's hard to tell from here.
Will you provide these forms?
Yes, Your Honor.
Really?
Yes, it is.
What your signature and a set of initials after each of the 26 paragraphs on each document, those initials being SS, tell me is that you have had an opportunity to read these documents. Do you have any difficulty reading and writing the English language?
I have no difficulty.
And your signature indicates that you are aware of each of the 26 paragraphs and all of the terms and conditions of these two documents. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I have a secondary document. It is an addendum to the plea form. That document is 4 pages long. It appears to have the same initials on the bottom of each of the pages, as well as a signature at the conclusion of the case, along with your attorney, Ms. Borden and Ms. Smith. I'm going to ask the deputies to please provide this document to you, and I'm going to ask you to verify that this is your signature.
Yes, it is.
What your signature on this document tells me is that you have had an opportunity to read this document, go over it with your attorneys, and you understand the 13 additional conditions of your plea agreement. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Each of the plea form goes over what your trial rights would be. In 2024 CF 1293, you were charged with the allegation of first-degree premeditated murder. In 2024 CF 632, you are charged with 60 counts. The first 9 counts being sexual battery with a child 12 to 18 years of age, counts 10 through 13 being sexual battery with a child 12 to 18 years of age, counts 14 through 20 being lewd or lascivious molestation, counts 21 through 60 being unlawful possession of materials depicting sexual performance by a child, 10 or more images.
Your Honor, counts 1 through 8 are sexual battery on a child under 12.
My apologies. Counts 1 through 8 are capital sexual battery on a child under 12. The plea form contemplates in 2024 CF 1293 1 count of murder, first degree, capital offense. Plea form on 24 CF 632 contemplates counts 1 through 8, 9 through 13, 14 through 20. With the representation that the state of Florida is withdrawing their notice of intention to seek the penalty of death upon acceptance of this plea. The maximum potential sentence on 24 CF 1293 would be life in prison without possibility of parole. Has the maximum sentence been explained to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And in 24 CF 632, counts 1 through 8, the maximum potential sentence would be a mandatory sentence of life in prison without possibility of parole. 9 through 13 and 14 through 20 would be first-degree felony allegations with a maximum potential sentence of up to life in prison. You understand those maximum potential sentences on that case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that you have a right to have a jury trial as to each of these allegations? And at the jury trial, the state of Florida would have to prove those allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. At that trial, your attorneys would be with you. They are experienced, board-certified criminal expert trial attorneys. They would be cross-examining witnesses, examining the evidence against you. You would have a right to present your own witnesses and your own evidence. If you had witnesses that did not want to come to court, you could have asked me to make them come to court with a subpoena. You could have spoke at your trial, or you could have exercised your right to remain silent and not spoken. That would have been your decision after you talked those decisions over with your attorneys, and your jury would have been instructed not to consider your decision to remain silent in any way in rendering the verdict. You would have had a right to have your trial recorded and appeal any errors that occurred in the process. Do you understand you are giving up all of your trial rights if the court accepts this plea? Because I will be imposing the sentence that you have agreed with the state of Florida to be imposed upon you, and we will not be having a trial on any of these matters. Do you understand those things?
I understand.
And Your Honor, just for record purposes, counts 9 through 13 are first-degree felonies punishable by life, as the court indicated. Count 14 through 20 are actually life felonies.
These are life felonies with a minimum mandatory of 25 years. Is life a required sentence, or would that be a punishable by life offense?
It's a life, punishable by life offense. I just wanted the record to be clear. This court indicated first-degree felonies, punishable by life. I just wanted the record to be clear that 14 through 20 are life felonies with 25-year minimum mandatories.
So the plea form indicates that these are first-degree felonies. These are actually either capital offenses or punishable by life offenses. Do you understand that, Mr. Sterns?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is anyone forcing you or pressuring you into make the decision to resolve your case this way?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone made you any other promises other than what has been presented to you as the agreed upon sentence?
No, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or mental issues that cause you not to understand the decision that you are making?
I am not.
Do you understand if you are not a United States citizen, that entry of this plea would subject you to deportation proceedings?
Yes.
And if you ever before had been convicted of a sexually violent or a sexually motivated offense, entry of this plea would have subjected you to involuntary civil commitment at the conclusion of any incarcerative sentence. You understand that's the state of Florida law.
Yes.
Ms. Smith, do you have any competency concerns regarding Mr. Sterns' fitness to accept this plea agreement?
No, Judge.
Ms. Borden?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Sterns, based on your responses to the court, based on your indicating that you have reviewed this decision with your attorneys, based on your initialing of the plea form and your acknowledgement that you understand all the terms and conditions, rights and obligations on these plea forms, including the addendum, the court is going to make a determination that you are alert, that you have had an opportunity to discuss this with your attorneys, that you are making this decision freely and voluntarily and without coercion. The court accepts your plea. Let me see the attorneys.
Are we having a sidebar? Yes, no trial if the judge accepts. I'm here for it. Said getting tired of these worms getting life when they had no regard for their victims' right to the same. Exactly. And with that new law in Florida that they could get death for the CSAM alone, there's Tyler right there moving his hands, or the woman beside him's moving his hands, but he's there, thank God. Tatiana's right beside him. The Soto family's there, but I'm not seeing Jen specifically. There's Yolanda. They look pissed and have every right to. Hey, Michelle. I don't understand why they're not getting given, I'm sorry, the death penalty for the CSAM charges. I mean, he wasn't even looking at death for the CSAM charges, and that's a new law in Florida. So why are we not enacting it? It might be Tyler's lawyer or a victim's rights advocate. Yeah, it would be hard not to. I'm sure Tyler is showing a hell of a lot of restraint because she can't bear coming out in public. Like, that's the least you could do for Maddie. Look at all the people who came out. Jen will never show her face in public without being terrified. I agree. Deb and Chris are nowhere to be found. Holly, why would Jen not be there unless she had something to hide? She can't. Yeah, right. Kimmy, see? Yolanda had every chance to stop it, but she never faced Jen for it while Maddie was alive. I genuinely think if Yolanda knew, she would have done something. I really do. I think that she thought that Maddie was just crying because we know she didn't like Stephan. I don't think for a second she thought it was what it was. Jim would have not have told her mother that they were oogling over Stephan together. So I think Maddie crying, not wanting to go home, maybe because she didn't like Stephan, would be like any other child not liking their stepfather that is not doing anything. It's just you don't like the relationship. You know, I'm sorry you don't like who your mom is dating, but you still have to go home, baby. I can keep you as much as possible, but you got to go home and kind of deal with it. I really don't think she thought any of that was going on. I imagine Jen gets real small and quiet. When any court proceedings come up, she probably hasn't taken a deep breath since he was arrested. Scared she's next, rightfully so. You know, I was just thinking if Stephanie's in the courtroom, she might not be, but it could be Jen appearing over Zoom. Oh, thank you, Michelle. And Abellis, thank you for the 20 gifted. And thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the super chat. Ron DeSantis put that new law. Yeah, so why are we not doing it? Kimmy Doodles, Wendy, good to see you. Right. Wendy said my grandkids cry when they have to leave me, but not because they don't want to go home. Yeah. I don't know. I think she said she didn't want to go home, but it's kind of normal, you know, especially with grandma. Like, grandma's going to spoil you. Grandma will take you shopping and give you candy for dinner. Not necessarily, but, you know, candy when you're not supposed to have any, all of that. You know, it's kind of normal for grandchildren to cry. I don't think that she would have ever thought. You think Yolanda's blaming herself? I hope not. Is he? I didn't even think about that, Kimmy. He is. That's right. You're right. He is the only one who said that. I didn't even think about that, Kimmy. Thank you for pointing that out. I think they've got some kind of deal. Oh, audio's back. Oh, thank you, Michelle. You're so sweet. Audio gone again. I'm wondering if they got some kind of deal because they took the death penalty off the table. Why? Like, even and I've said before in my comment section, even if we're gonna say, "Okay, we're gonna spare the jury and the public," I don't think the public should ever see what happened to Maddie, but I think the jury should absolutely see what he did to her and make a judgment on whether he deserves the death penalty. I feel like Maddie's not gonna get justice without somebody knowing exactly what he did to her and making a decision on his life, but that's just me. But does the government want this to go to trial? Because if they did, they wouldn't have been okay with the plea agreement. They're going to look at it as if it's saving them money and possibly saving the mental health of the jurors, which I get. But like, thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate that. That was so sweet of you. Thank you so very much. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I think they. Oh, let me hush it.
Court has had discussion with the parties regarding plea of no contest as to 24 CF 1293.
Fuck you. Don't take it.
First degree premeditated murder of Madeline Soto. Mr. Sterns, how do you plea to first degree premeditated murder in 24 CF 1293?
No contest.
Oh,
As to
fuck you.
counts 1 through 8, capital sexual battery of Madeline Soto while she was under the age of 12. Counts 9 through 13, sexual battery of Madeline Soto between the ages of 12 and 18. And counts 14 through 20, lewd or lascivious molestation. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Prior to sentencing, does the state care to offer any victim impact testimony?
Your Honor, the first will be a written statement from Madeline's maternal grandmother. Yolanda Zambrano. Today I stand before you with a broken soul. I am Madeline's grandmother, but to her I was not grandma. Madeline always called me Mama. She decided that since she was little. And that's how I felt with her, like a second mother who loved her with all my heart. Madeline was a happy little girl. She loved going shopping with me. That excited her so much that it felt like everything around us turned into color. I remember her face lighting up when we went to the stores. Holding hands, laughing together in those moments, we connected, and I felt like she knew she was loved, protected, and valued. At night, we loved to play. It was in those moments, just before bed, that she laughed the most. Sometimes it's hard for me to close my eyes because I still hear her laughter. It was free, sweet, and sincere laugh, a sound I will never forget as long as I live. But that laughter was silenced by a horrific act. The very man who betrayed her trust, her innocence, her body. And if that wasn't enough damage, he took her life. And with her, he killed a piece of our souls. Since then, life has never been the same. Our family is empty and broken. There are days when the pain is so great that I feel like I'm drowning. And every time I think of everything she could have been, everything that was stolen from her, it hurts even more. Because Maddie wasn't just a victim. She was a little girl with a beautiful future, with a unique light, with so much love to give and receive. Today I am here because Maddie can no longer speak, but I can as her grandmother. As someone who loved her with all that I am, I come to ask for justice for her memory, for everything she lived through and should never have lived through. Justice so that no one else has to go through such a horror. I will never forget Maddie, her voice, her laughter, her eyes, her dreams. All of that lives in me, and so it will live forever. My beautiful girl, one day we will be reunited and we will never be separated again. I love you with all my heart. Thank you for listening to me with deep pain and eternal love.
This is a statement from Angelica Negro Guerrero. My name is
The
Angelica
roommate.
Negro Guerrero. I lived with Maddie and Jennifer in the same house for about 2.5 years. Today, I take the liberty of expressing myself not just as a roommate, but as part of the family, as Maddie told me several times. How can I explain how this tragedy has impacted my life? There are so many emotions. I am an immigrant and I have lived in this country for 4 years. I left my country, Venezuela, alone with just a suitcase in my hand in search of a better future. Venezuela has been going through the worst moment in history, run by people blinded by power and money, people who have stolen the future of so many. I've always been against injustice, abuse, corruption, and evil in general. I couldn't picture myself living in a country where I had to witness every single day how a small, corrupt group destroyed countless families and the beauty of my nation. And that's exactly why it has been so devastating for me to experience something so tragic, so close to me after coming here with a hope for a better life. I ended up living under the same roof with a man who took a life of a 13-year-old girl, and with that shattered an entire family. What is the point of having dreams, plans, and opportunities if there is no life? If there is so much evil in the world? How can I explain what I felt and how this has affected me, especially considering that this same man took nude photos of my body without my consent, violating my privacy? I felt invaded, outraged, degraded, anguished, and absolutely shattered. I constantly think that my life was in danger too. I could have died. I am also a victim. And the only reason I'm here to write this is because God is great and I know I'm under his protection. This has affected my emotional, physical, and financial stability. I haven't been able to live with strangers ever again. Right now, I rent an apartment by myself. I pay it with all my effort just to feel safe and at peace. If I already had trouble trusting people before, now it's even harder. I can't imagine even handling a neighbor too close because it gives me anxiety. I tried to get psychological help to move forward, but this is something that will forever remain in my memory and continue to affect me deeply. To this day, I wish I could wake up and realize none of this ever happened, that this was just a nightmare. I wish I could still be spending time with Maddie, making her arepas with cheese and butter like she loved, and practicing our languages together. Me learning English and her learning Spanish. I'll never forget the words she always told Jennifer. Mommy, I would love to learn Spanish so I can talk a lot with Angelica. I think about all the time and I wish it had been me who spoke English fluently back then. Maybe she would have opened up to me about the hell she was going through with that horrible man. I want justice for Madeline and for all the girls and women who have lived through something similar. I want him to pay for all the pain he caused her and the beautiful family I love with all my heart. I send all my love to the sky to Madeline so her soul may find peace. Angelica. This is from Zamina Zambrano, a cousin to Maddie Soto. To the Honorable Court, we write this letter with broken hearts still aching from the devastating loss of our beloved Maddie Soto. The pain of losing her is something no family should ever have to endure. But the nature of her death, the cruelty, the abuse, the inhumanity has inflicted a level of trauma and sorrow that words can scarcely convey. Maddie was more than a victim. She was a daughter, a granddaughter, a cousin, a niece, and a cherished soul in our close-knit and loving family. To know her was to love her. Her spirit, her kindness, and her light remained with us even though her life was so brutally taken. She was not only murdered, she was discarded like she was nothing, thrown into the wilderness. That image haunts our minds and wounds our hearts every day. Our grief has been compounded by the public scrutiny and the cruelty of strangers who speculate and judge without knowing the depth of our loss or the strength of our bond. We are a large family rooted in love, faith, and mutual support, and this tragedy has shaken us to our core, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Many of us suffer sleepless nights, constant anxiety, and depression. The trauma has left scars that will last a lifetime. We turn to God for comfort and we trust that divine justice will ultimately be done. but we also place our faith in this court to uphold what is just and right. Maddie deserves that. Our family deserves that. We beg you to consider the profound impact this crime has had, not just on one individual, but on an entire family and community. Please ensure that the individual who committed this horrifying act is held fully accountable. Justice for Maddie cannot bring her back, but it can ensure that her life and her death are not dismissed or dishonored. Let there be no leniency for this cruelty. Let there be no question about the value of her life. Let justice be done. Sincerely, Jimena, please, on behalf of the Zambrano.
Thank you.
Ma'am, can you tell the court your name?
My name is Leticia Nunez. I was Madeline's aunt.
Can you spell your first and last name for the court report?
Letizia, last name Nunez, Nunez. To Maddie. When I was 7 years old, a beautiful newborn baby was brought into our lives. And I remember being so excited because I was going to be an aunt. You gave me a sense of responsibility from such a young age because I wanted nothing more at that time than to help take care of you, play with you, and overall just make you a happy baby. You're truly missed every single day. I miss your laugh. I miss your smile. I miss your big, beautiful blue eyes. I miss doing the little things like picking you up from school, helping you with your homework, even though we both hated doing that. I just miss you and your presence. But that unfortunately was taken from us. I have so much hatred in my heart, specifically for the creature that's sitting in this room today. And no matter what happens or what justice could be brought, it kills me that it doesn't bring me back. I would give up my life if it meant having you here with us. Even though I was your aunt, you always felt much more like a little sister to me. Doing your hair for the father-daughter dances that my dad would take you to, letting you pick out clothes from my closet, doing your makeup and making sure it was very light because your natural beauty was worth more than any makeup product money could buy. I just miss you every single day, and it's left a hole in my heart from the day you've been gone. Your innocence was taken from you, and since clearly that wasn't enough for a certain someone, so was your life. You were the bravest little girl I've ever met, full of love, light, laughter, and as any positive thing I could think of, you were all of those things. I'm so blessed to have spent 13 years with someone so wonderful, and you're going to live on through all of us. Not because of what happened to you, because that didn't define who you were. I'm going to make sure my future kids know who you are, and make sure my grandkids know who you are, and so on. Today I sit here before everyone, and all I can say is that despite what anyone thinks they know, you were so loved by each and every one of your family members, and I know you left this world knowing that. I know it would pain you to see what people have to say about your loved ones, but what I think of it all is that, and what I'd want you to think up in heaven is that it's all just noise. And I find comfort in the fact that we, your family, know you were beyond loved and beyond cared for. I'm so sorry we found out too late. But despite everything that was happening to you behind closed doors, you still remained one of the happiest human beings I've ever met. Someone who loved us deeply and made us all smile. Trying to find light in this horrible situation is very difficult, but one thing I am grateful for is that your last day on this earth was everything you wanted and more. You got the birthday you asked for. Your best friends were able to be with you. We cooked the food you specifically asked for, and overall, I have the memory of sitting outside by my pool looking at you and your friends and just thinking, I'm so glad she's having a great time. And look at how grown up she is. How she's blossoming into such an amazing young woman. I could go on forever, but I just want to leave this here by saying I love you so much, and I miss you endlessly. Everything I do from now on, any accomplishments, any decisions I make, anything that happens in my life, I'm going to do it for you and in your honor. I love you, Madeline Sofia Soto, and I hope you're resting peacefully now.
Can you tell the court your name and then spell your first and last name for the court reporter?
Natalie Rosero, Nathalie. Thank you, Your Honor, for for having me here today. I've known the family for over 15 years. I am best friends with Maddie's aunt and was roommates with Maddie and her mom during the time her life was ended. All of our kids are the same age, so we always try to keep them united and spend as many holidays together. I have years worth of beautiful pictures, birthdays, Christmas, and Easters we all spent together. Those are the moments I try to hold on to as I stand here today. I'm here to express what the past year and a half has been like in my experience. From the moment we found out that Maddie went missing, life has never been the same. Those first 48 hours we set out to look for her, we spread flowers, went knocking on door to door, going to every business down John Young Parkway from Kissimmee to Sand Lake, asking for the public's help. All while seeing my best friend and her family have emotional breakdowns, feeling completely helpless and terrified for Maddie, thinking how could anyone just take her? It turns out we spent almost 3 days looking in the wrong location because Stephan lied to us about where he last saw her. Your Honor, that's the first time in my life I've ever felt true hate for anyone. The following days were filled with more sadness and distraught. We went from searching for a missing person to looking for a body. I had been searching for her as if my son was missing, so it was very difficult to accept that. We spent the rest of the week canvassing St. Cloud until they eventually found her body. Although there was a moment of relief that at least her body was found, that was the last sense of relief I've felt since that day. I was confident I had the power of discernment, but I couldn't even see the evil living in the same house. As details of the sexual abuse and her death came to light, you start to question everything. I even questioned my own faith. Having a full night's sleep became a luxury I could not afford. I was too anxious to sleep, constantly wanting to wake up from a nightmare. It wasn't until I started wishing death on him that I realized I needed help. I started going to therapy to try to deal with the grief and anger of losing Maddie the way we did. I also had to navigate my son's emotions as he finds out the cruelty that exists in this world. Holidays are not the same. The void is loud. It's hard to trust people. I am very guarded. I am hoping that when everything here is said and done, there can be some type of closure, even though Maddie's life can never be replaced. That is the only reason I am here today. As decisions are made, please keep in mind that she wasn't even my child, and I feel this way. I cannot imagine the pain, trauma, and deception that Maddie's family has experienced. I do not wish this pain and suffering on any other child or family. Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Stephanie online would like to address the board.
We're joined by an online presence. Stephanie, you may unmute your microphone and let the court know how this has affected your family and yourself.
Can you tell the court your first and last name and spell them, please?
I can see that her microphone is still muted.
Can you hear me, Judge?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, hi. I'm sorry. To the court. Maddie brought a light into my life that I would never be able to describe. With her outgoing personality and her infectious smile, her infectious laugh. She was so kind-hearted, adventurous, and loving. Now that she's gone, everything's changed. The silence where her laughter used to be is deafening. The hole in my heart is bottomless, and the pain pain is indescribable. My family's life has been shattered. What we've endured and what we will continue to endure for the rest of our lives is a kind of pain that I do not wish on anyone. No family should have to lose a loved one in this horrible manner, especially at such young. Her life was taken. Her future. I should say, never see her fall in love, get married, or build a future that she deserved. With her. This while in her
Appears the connection is no longer established.
You return it. I can finish reading it, Judge.
Rejoin.
I'm so sorry. I'm not in a good place with connection. I apologize.
You may continue. We can
This
hear you.
vile and heartless crime has not only affected and traumatized my family, but so many other families as well. It has also impacted her friends, all of those who knew her, as well as the whole community. There are nights where I can't sleep, nights where I wake up gasping for air, haunted by what Maddie must have gone through. I am consumed by grief. I carry such an anger that it eats away at me on a daily basis. A depression I never thought was possible. The emptiness touches every moment of every day. And everywhere I look, I see her. I hear her laugh in my memories, and then I remember she's gone, and it destroys me all over again. To know what Maddie went through and how terrified she must have been is unbearable. The thought of her suffering haunts me. The cruelty of what was done to her will never stop echoing in my mind. I asked the court for something that I know I could never really have, justice. Because real justice would mean that Maddie would be here with us and not you. You still get to wake up every day, something you cruelly stole from her and from us. The way you discarded Maddie as if she was nothing and her life had no value is a true reflection of your evil. The suffering you caused her should be given back to you tenfold. You do not deserve peace. You do not deserve mercy. You deserve to carry the weight of her pain every single day, just how we will carry it for the rest of our lives. And let me be perfectly clear. Where you go after this life will not be where Maddie is. She is in a place of peace surrounded by love. You, on the other hand, will never know peace. You will never see her again. You're not going where she is going. You're going to hell. Thank you, court.
And Stephanie, can you tell the court your first and last name, please?
Stephanie Soto.
Thank you.
Stephanie Soto, did you get it? I'm sorry.
Ms. Soto, we can hear you. Thank you for your statement.
Thank you.
Afternoon, Your Honor.
Can you tell the court your first and last name and spelling?
Kimberly Vialta. Your Honor, I stand here today to give you a little insight of how loved and how losing Maddie has destroyed my family. Although Maddie was not my blood, I considered her my family. And I loved her like my own niece. Maddie was a kind and bubbly child and was growing up to be the most amazing young lady. She loved arts and crafts, Taylor Swift, and sour gummy candy.
I had the honor and privilege of spending many holidays and special occasions with Maddie over the years, and I will cherish those memories forever. I do not have joy or happiness left in me because this monster took that away from us when he killed Maddie. Every day I feel like life is not worth living anymore because such heinous evil exists in this world. There is not a day that goes by where I do not think about all the pain and suffering that Maddie endured. This monster took advantage of her trust and her innocence. This parasite robbed us of every moment we could have had with Maddie, and our lives will never be the same. A life sentence is not punishment enough for what he did to Maddie. However, it gives me comfort to know that he will spend the rest of his miserable life in prison. I hope he lives a long and healthy life, so he suffers every single day. Therefore, I ask the court to not take any mercy on this poor excuse of a human when imposing his sentence, because he does not deserve it. Thank you, Your Honor.
Can you let the court know your names?
My name is Tyler Wallace.
Tatiana Wallace.
Tyler, what's your relationship to Madeline Soto?
Madeline Soto was my daughter.
Go ahead.
Madeline Soto was my daughter. She was happiness. She was a joy to be around. She was quirky and intelligent. She was curious. A little forgetful like me too. That happens sometimes, but I just loved her so much. And I was not able to be in her life as much as I would like to, due to circumstances and choices I had made, due to the way finances worked. I was strained in my relationship with my daughter, and that was finally getting better. The last time I saw her was in October of 2023, and she had come to visit for a few days. And when I took her back to the airport, I said, you know, you're turning 13 soon. When you turn 13, you have a choice of which guardian you're interested in staying with. Would you like to stay with me and talk to you? And she said, yes, that she would. And so I was this close to having my little girl, sir. Because of the actions of this depraved man, I will never meet the woman she was becoming. And I can't grasp it. I can't grasp the selfishness of you, the deplorability of your actions. You're depraved. You're weak. You're a coward. You're a sneak thief. You crept into a family and took advantage and exploited them when they were weak. It's torn my family apart. It's led to arguments about who can go where and who can get what and who can help who, but we're all on edge because it doesn't heal with time. This isn't like other deaths that I've experienced. This just gets worse. It just gets worse every time I rethink about it and the true horror of what this man visited upon her. And I can only hope that he lives a long time in prison and has those same horrors revisited upon him by his fellow inmates. Thank you.
State has no further witnesses.
Defense, any input prior to sentencing? State, do you have additional input?
Can you please tell the court your name?
Okay, my name is Leslie Bajalta.
And how are you related to?
I'm a close friend of Maddie's family. Most people only know Maddie as the victim of a heinous crime, but I'd like to talk about Maddie today, and I'd like to share some things that I really loved about her. I loved how fearless Maddie was. She was an amazing swimmer. She was a fast learner. The moment she set her mind to something, she did it. That's how she was about everything. She dove into everything head first, and she was so resilient. She had the most beautiful smile. It lit up our entire life. Every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, I was so excited to see her, to talk to her about her life. She was so curious. She was so smart. She could sing. She loved to perform for us. Maddie enjoyed watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Bob's Burgers. She even dressed up as Louise one year for Halloween. And I loved her witty, outspoken personality. She's so funny. And that's how I want everyone to leave here thinking about her, remembering her. She lost a lot of privacy towards the end of her life. And I want her to be remembered by her amazing qualities, not the abuse she endured and the exploitation she endured by her abuser. There's not 1 second of my life that I don't think about Maddie. I'll forever celebrate her in my heart and out loud. Maddie was too good for the world, and she did not deserve any of this. Ever since she's been gone, our family, our joy, everything is destroyed. No one smiles anymore. No one laughs. Most days I can't even leave my house. I feel like I can't breathe. And I'm not even her blood relative. I was just so lucky to be a part of her life. He took Maddie away from us. He took away her whole childhood. He took away all her potential that we saw in her, and he took everything from us. And now it's time for him to reap what he sows. This disgusting parasite stole Maddie's youth, her innocence, her life, her joy. He has stolen our sense of safety. I can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see his disgusting face. I can imagine what he did to her. I know every detail. I've read everything. I will never bring children into this world because of people like him, depraved, disgusting maggots just like him. He's not the only one. May God forgive him because I definitely do not. I please ask the court to prosecute him to the fullest extent. Show no mercy, exactly how he did Maddie. Justice for Maddie. Thank you.
Nothing further.
That's any input prior to
Yes, Your Honor, we would like to thank the State Attorney's Office for sparing Mr. Sterns' life. And we do sincerely hope that this will bring closure and help to start the healing process for Ms. Souls.
Court has accepted Mr. Sterns' plea of no contest for the first-degree premeditated murder of Madeline Soto and his plea of guilty to 8 counts of sexual battery on Madeline Soto under the age of 12, sexual battery upon Madeline Soto between the ages of 12 and 18 in a familial custodial role, and lewd or lascivious molestation, counts 14 through 20. State, do you have an announcement as to the notice of intent to seek the penalty of death?
Your Honor, we will waive the notice of intent to seek death. We will file an electronic null pros for counts 21 through 60. And we are also asking that you inquire about waiving a PSI, just in abundance of caution.
Based on the announcement from the state of Florida, the maximum potential sentence in these cases is life in prison without the possibility of parole, as the notice of intent to seek the penalty of death has been waived. Ms. Smith, as to 2024 CF 632, is there a waiver of an entitlement to a pre-sentence investigation?
Yes, Judge.
Ms. Gordon, as to the remaining case 2024 CF 1293, is there a waiver of entitlement to a pre-sentence investigation?
Yes, he is not entitled to a PSI on this.
The board has had an opportunity to hear the anguish and the fury of shattered families, gallery has had an opportunity to hear the anguish and the fury of community mourning and permanently diminished. Folks joining us around the state and the country remotely have heard the opportunity to hear the anguish and fury of a meaningful future that was stolen and a beautiful promise of Madeline Soto's life extinguished permanently. Stephan Sterns, you have had the opportunity to hear that anguish and fury from your actions. As to first-degree premeditated murder of Madeline Soto, you are adjudicated guilty and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. As to the capital sexual battery of Madeline Soto while she was under the age of 12, for each count, you are sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For the sexual battery of Madeline Soto between the ages of 12 and 18, you are adjudicated guilty and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For the lewd and lascivious molestation of Madeline Soto, you are sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. These sentences will run concurrently, meaning at the same time. The state of Florida has withdrawn their notice of intent to seek the penalty of death. These are the maximum sentences permitted to the court. Each case will have court costs that will be reduced to a civil judgment.
2024 CF 632, court costs are $11,163. As to 24 CF 1293, $666.
Court incorporates the addendum to the plea form as to each plea in 2024 CF 632 and 2024 CF 1293. Not announced. You are adjudicated guilty as counts 1 through 8, 24 CF 632. State any further sentencing considerations?
Yes, Your Honor. With regards to count 14 through count 20 and 24 CF 632, the court sentenced to life in prison. There is a 25-year minimum mandatory with that as well. The state also provided the court with a score sheet which encompasses counts 9 through 20. It includes penetration and contact points as well. A copy of that has been provided to defense as well in the court. I haven't been made aware of any corrections or additions or subtractions.
I do not have a copy of this.
Should be with the plea form, Your Honor.
It's not. I'm going to need a copy of the score sheet, please. Ms. Smith, Ms. Borden, the total sentence points pursuant to the Criminal Punishment Code score sheet are 1,278 with a lowest permissible prison sentence in months of 937.5 months. That doesn't include sexual penetration points of 80 times 5 and sex contact points of 40 times 7. Any errors, corrections, or omissions to the score sheet? Ms. Smith? Ms. Borden?
No, Your Honor.
25-year minimum mandatory sentence as to the counts requiring a minimum mandatory sentence are imposed. You will have the right to appeal the judgment and sentences of the court. If you wish to do so, you must do so in writing within the next 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. The appeal will be limited to the jurisdiction of the court to impose the sentence. Legality of the sentence itself is a condition of your agreement with the state of Florida. You are agreeing not to appeal the pretrial rulings of the court. State, anything else? Defense, anything else? Thank you. Let's place Mr. Sterns under, he's been previously placed under oath.
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to make a brief statement. I agree that it's not fair that Madeline is not here anymore. I still have a hard time contemplating a world where she's not around, a world which feels less vibrant and less colorful than it did before. I've prayed to God countless times to trade places with her, to take me instead. And unfortunately, that's just not how he works. I have nothing but sorrow for her loss, and I miss her all the time. Her passing has torn me and my family apart as well.
Fuck you.
And she truly was a joy. I pray to God that she is in heaven and that he's taking good care of her. And I hope she gets to join the choir because she had a beautiful voice. I will miss her all the time. I will never not honor her memory. And I apologize for all the pain.
Anything further?
As he's
Plea and sentencing hearing. We'll be in recess.
When he got done speaking, he sat back, shook his head, and fucking smiled. What are we in fucking recess for? To take him to fucking McDonald's? You might as fucking well. Let's go get him lunch while we're fucking at it. Fucking. Oh, I'm so defeated. I'm so hurt. Oh my God, I miss Maddie. You tell him. Amanda, I feel sick too. Like, I really feel like I'm about to vomit. Tell him, baby. I don't know. I don't know how this happens. He is still obsessed with her. I can't believe he let him plead no fucking contest. And he can appeal. He's going to appeal. I mean, again, like I said, might as well go get him fucking lunch. Hell, take him to the Olive Garden. Fucking shit. Sorry, I didn't mean to be cussing like that. I apologize, Duchess. I'm literally nauseous right now.
He's coming up.
What are we in? So this is the, he said recess, but like everything's over, I guess. Court TV will shut it down what it is. I get that.
Sorry for the delay.
I get that he's guilty, okay, but like still.
Get started in about 5 minutes.
Not a problem, Judge. Thank you.
I get that he's guilty, but I don't know. It's just not right, man. Guilty, life without the possibility of parole, the ability to appeal. I just don't like it. I don't like it. And hell, what he did say, we could barely damn hear. Probably about 2 to 3 weeks, they'll ship him to prison. I've already submitted the FOIA. Oh, Jesus, stop it. God almighty. Like an Alford plea. What is an Alford plea? Let's look it up. I forget. I look up so much stuff. An Alford plea is a guilty plea in criminal court whereby a defendant in a criminal case does not admit to the criminal act and asserts innocence. The name Alford plea is taken from the that's like the oh my God, the one in Arkansas. But like, how was he able to? I'll open the panel if anybody wants to come up. I don't even know what the hell to say right now. How is he able to say he's innocent? I mean, and then sit there and talk about Maddie, like just to put the icing on the cake. And we let him. We just let him talk about Maddie. Okay. Still not admitting what he did either. I miss Maddie. You know, the way he portrayed it. We can watch it again too. I want to hear exactly what he said again. The way he portrayed it is as if she did something to herself or somebody else did, just like he said in fucking jail. Hold on, I'll pull this up so y'all can see. Hey, Bazard.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'm currently driving back home. I was getting some lunch, but I was here with the rest of you, and I'm somewhat speechless. A little well, I am disappointed, but I'm just taking the solace that he's not going to last that long. Compared to Kohlberger, he's not going to last that long.
If he goes to general population, they're going to keep him in protective custody. That's
There's
what
hits already set for him.
I mean, yeah, there might be, but the only way anybody's going to be able to get at him is if they're a trustee.
True, but I have a feeling he's going to get something's going to happen to him.
I mean, I doubt it. I doubt it. I hope so, but I doubt it. Hey, Sarah.
It's a gut feeling.
I
just messed my audio up.
Oh, you're good. I can hear you.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to say this, and I gotta drop off because I'm doing things, and I feel I need to go cry. I don't want to cry in front of people.
Right?
I mean, just to be honest. So same thing as the Idaho 4 case. Today is the day where monsters live to tell their tales, and that's not okay.
Nope.
I mean, how do we explain that to our kids? The monsters, they're under your bed. They'll get you, and they'll get away with it.
Yeah.
How is that okay?
I don't know.
How do we fix it?
I don't know.
I don't either. All right, I'm gonna go. Hugs and love. Hugs and love.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Why did I don't? I'm gonna play what he said again. What he spoke about Maddie, because that shit was bullshit.
Months, that doesn't include.
There we go.
Not to appeal the pretrial rulings of the court. Kate, anything else? Vince, anything else?
He's still not taking accountability even after all that. Hey, Norma.
Place Mr. Stearns under.
Uh-oh, we lost Buzzard.
Placed under oath.
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to make a brief statement. I agree that it's not fair that Madeline is not here anymore. I still have a hard time contemplating a world where she's not around, a world which feels less vibrant and less colorful than it did before.
He's making himself a victim of her homicide right now.
I've prayed to God countless times to trade places with her, to take me instead. And unfortunately, that's just not how he works.
Ugh.
I have nothing but sorrow for her loss, and I miss her all the time. Her passing has torn me and my family apart as well, and she truly was a joy.
He's a victim. He is playing the victim here. He's acting like he is a victim of her passing, and we just let him?
I pray to God that she is in heaven and that he's taking good care of her. And I hope she gets to join the choir because she had a beautiful voice. I will miss her all the time. I will never not honor her memory.
You didn't honor her in her life. Oh my God. Yeah, like exactly, Blue. Allowing Stearns to speak is like taking a shit on her memory, and he's the victim. It's his victim impact statement. That's what the fuck this is.
I apologize for all the pain.
He only apologizes for the CSAM. He's not apologizing for anything else. Look at him, and then he shook his head and just.
Anything further? Conclude our plea and sentencing hearing.
A plea and sentencing hearing. I'm going to see if there's anything on YouTube. I think that they did the sentencing hearing. I'm pretty sure that's what that was. But why are we allowing him to give a fucking impact statement? Please tell me. Please fucking tell me. He's still looking for Jen Soto and hasn't seen her as far as I know. Let me see if they've got anything else on it. I don't think they do. Nope. Let's go to News 6 Orlando. Pleads no contest to murder, guilty to sexual battery. I don't think anybody's talking about it yet. Yo, I don't even know what to say. She is guilty. Concurrently. Let's look that up just to be sure. Are you? Yo. I am fucking done. I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done. They're going to be life sentences served at the same time. A term of life is 25 years. He can get out in 25 years. Was it concurrent? I think he said concurrent. Let me see. They might have it up. I can't even type. consecutive, meaning they are served one. Okay. It says Stephan Sterns' life sentences are consecutive, meaning they are served one after the other, which significantly increases the total time spent in prison. Okay. Thank God. Thank God. At least that's happening. So he can't get out for at least 100 years. He'll never get out. Thank God. Thank you. Concurrent. Okay. Thank God. Only in a body bag. Thank God for that. I can't believe y'all. I'm speechless right now. I don't even like. I'm not. I could read emails, but I can't. I can't emotionally do it.
Stories and everything else.
I can't even emotionally do it. I had quite a few pulled up. Is that where we just were? Oh, okay. Let's take this back. We'll see if anybody stopped and talked. Just showing people going in and out of the courthouse. There's Tyler and Tatiana.
I'm going to circle back around. We're just going to make sure that he's safe and we get him where he needs to be, and then I'll come back and talk to you guys, okay? So just hang tight.
Okay, so we're going to get to hear Tyler speak. Hey, Anders. She could have did a victim impact statement and at least sent it into the court. He does. He has the chance to appeal.
No. I was there when one other reporter asked the public defender if they would come. Yeah.
Sandra said, in Florida, a sentence of life without parole means exactly that. The individual will remain incarcerated for the rest of the life with no possibility of parole or release. Thank you for that. Oh, thank you, Native Girl. Good to see you. I can't, man. I'm fucking pissed. His lawyer's coming back, not Tyler. Let's see. I think lawyer. Lord have mercy, y'all. I'm befuddled. I think Tyler's attorney. I think Tyler was going to take a civil lawsuit out. And I know that we got a little bit upset with his speech because he talked about himself and all that, but I think he was trying to point out that how they were similar, which they look just like each other, and how close he was to getting her. He was so close to having her full time. And then this happened. Got Maddie out of the way and doesn't want Stephan Sterns angry at her, so won't stand up for Maddie. Maybe. I don't know. Probably just the logistics of everything. You don't think so? I mean, he did say that he was about to get her, I think. Listen to what the judge said. I thought you were talking about Tyler. If he's telling the truth or not, who? Tyler? About getting her? I think he would have had a long court battle, but in his mind, he was. Yeah, it's hard. No, I think he might sue Jen Soto. Here comes the lawyer. Yep. I guess it is just going to be the lawyer.
Thank you for coming back. We appreciate it. Yeah, yeah, of course. No, that's, okay, let me just speak this down. So obviously, Mr. Wallace and Tatiana going through and listening to everything that they had to listen to, it's obviously affecting them a great deal. So they're just going to need a little bit of time. But they do want to speak on behalf of Maddie at some point. They're just not in a great headspace right now to address that. But if you guys want to leave me your contact information, we can definitely circle back when they're in a little bit of a better headspace.
Can you tell us if they support this agreement, especially the no contest to the murder charge?
Yes, they're obviously with a trial coming out, and the sex crimes trial was going to be starting on Tuesday. That's a lot of videos. It's their little girl, and I think he recognizes that Stephan Sterns is going to die in prison. The death penalty is you die in prison, and he is not getting out ever. And I think that he understands that, and he understands the trade-off in terms of, okay, he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison, and my little girl does not have to essentially go through this, and the family go through all of this. And it also takes away all the appeals in terms of, with a death penalty case, the lack of closure that comes with a death penalty case, because the appeals are never ending, essentially. And so this is really, it's a step. Nothing changes the facts. Nothing ever will change the facts, but it's a step for them to get closure.
What do they make of Stern's statement in court, his apology?
An apology? I mean, I can't speak for them. I can tell you that I thought it was disgusting. I did not take that as an apology. I took that as he misses her, for whatever motive or reason he misses her. And I was disgusted by it. But again, I'm not speaking for them when I say that.
The no contest plea, a lot
Sure.
of people are saying, hey, he's not necessarily admitting guilt to the murder of Madeline. Does the family feel that others are involved, or if Sterns did this himself and no other people involved?
No, like I said, they're okay with this outcome. However you get Stephan Sterns life in prison without any hope of ever getting out. And I think in his final statements that he made to the court, where he's a former Marine, he understands what life in prison as a sex offender means, and I think he has come to a certain level of peace with that outcome. Everything else is really kind of ticky-tacky in terms of, all right, how does he get there? But the bottom line is he's getting there, and he's never getting out.
When did the family find out about the plea agreement?
It was last week.
But did you see the mother in the courtroom today, or did I just miss her?
When you refer to the mother, do you refer to Jennifer Soto?
Yes.
I did not see her in the courtroom.
Did you find that odd at any meetings?
Not for me to say.
Did they expect this plea agreement? Did they know it was something that's coming down the pipeline?
Yes, and I will say the state attorney's office has been wonderful in terms of the communication, in terms of getting their input, in terms of sitting down with them. William J. and Danielle Pinnell, they put their heart and souls into this case. They were there and available for any questions that anybody had. They didn't try to rush anything. They didn't try to force anything. This was very much conversations that took place in terms of what, and again, in a case like this, there's never going to be any like joy or happiness. There's not going to be a resolution where everybody is like, that's great. But it is a matter of, well, what can you live with? And what does it mean for the family? And what does it mean for Maddie, quite honestly, moving forward? Nobody wants to be in a position where, and no offense to you guys, we appreciate you very much, but the media exposure in a child sex case, where that's what's going to be written about for weeks on ends, if not months. And obviously, you know, if you have the ability to have closure without that having to happen, where essentially the same outcome, where he will in fact die in prison. And I think that is what the big picture was, and that was the goal. And I think that was achieved today.
There were a lot of law enforcement officers in the courtroom. Does the family have any thoughts on the case that law enforcement built, especially in those early days?
They're really appreciative. They actually were really overwhelmed with the support, and they really appreciate the fact that, you know, law enforcement, they're there when they're not in a position to help their daughter. Sometimes you have to rely on other people, and they're very appreciative of the work that law enforcement and the prosecution did in this case.
Deborah, speak if you can. Remember the years of being a state prosecutor. Does it make a difference, even though the out cue was the same, that he pled no contest to some things, one guilty to others? Does it make a difference, even though the outcome's the same?
No. It's basically, it doesn't really have any legal significance. And so the fact that he went no contest and guilty, okay, and enjoy life in prison.
What's next for the family?
Well, that's a good question. I don't even think they know the answer to that. I can't imagine how you move on from this. And I think, you know, Tyler said it best in terms of describing his emotions earlier today, where he's like, you know, this type of death is so unique that unfortunately with time, it's actually gotten worse for him mentally, because I think he has more time to think about it and to think about exactly what happened to his little girl. And so it's hard, and it's going to be hard, but they're gonna get through it.
Many of us know you quite well. For those out there that don't, do you mind just saying spelling your name?
Sure. Yeah. I'm sorry. My name's Deborah Barra, Deborah. Last name Barra, B as in boy, Arra.
Hi, thank you. I have one more question. Has Stephan Sterns' parents ever reach out to the family to offer apologies, any type of talk, you know, communication whatsoever?
Not to my knowledge. Yes, thank you guys.
Okay, so that was Tyler's attorney. And said, I noticed Stephan Sterns got a charge for sexual battery above the age of 12 to 18. So that means there were pics of Sterns assaulting Maddie that night. So did he get an additional sentence of a minimum 25 years? He got 4 sentences of life without the possibility of parole to be served one right after the other. I do believe there was pictures of him abusing her that night. And that's what I thought since I read that charge, because she only turned 13 Thursday before, and he came down that Saturday night. So that tells me there had to be pictures of him abusing her that night. Plus, they reference him wearing a red shirt in some of the photos, and they ask him why he wasn't wearing that red shirt the next morning and where it was at. I don't know if that red shirt, I do believe it's a Deadpool shirt, has ever been located.
Joining us now are Kaylee Gonzalez's parents, Steve and Christy, and their attorney.
Okay, I'm going to pause that because we're not doing Idaho 4 right now. There was photos of him abusing her in a red shirt they reference, and they are asking about that red Deadpool shirt quite a lot. And there's rumors that he was on Telegram that night at 11:54 p.m. However, that has not been validated in my opinion. Yeah, and he had the tripods, the damn tripods. All right, I'm going to see if there's anything else out on this, and if there's not, I'm probably going to end it because I need to take a damn walk. I can't even. I got to go be in nature and talk to the trees. I don't know. I'm not literally going to talk to trees, but you get my point. Need to go punch a tree. Was 6 hours ago. It's not new since the trial. I can't believe he gave a fucking impact statement. I mean, that's what it was. We got this 49-second clip we can watch. Maybe the audio is a bit better.
Sterns, how do you plea to first-degree premeditated murder in 24 CF 129?
Right.
No contest.
And as to counts 1 through 8, capital sexual battery of Madeline Soto while she was under the age of 12. Counts 9 through 13, sexual battery of Madeline Soto between the ages of 12 and 18. And counts 14 through 20, lewd or lascivious molestation. How do you plead?
Guilty.
I hate that they're so loud. That's the one that's so damn loud. We need News 6 Orlando, ABC. See what they have on it. That was 2 days ago. They don't have anything yet. I might have looked at Wish. That might have been where we were. I can't even remember. I'm just so... Yeah, that's where we were. Okay. There's, yep, Fox 35 is the other one. They're talking about it.
We also found, we also heard that the family found out about this plea agreement last week.
Belladonna, thank you for becoming a member.
The input, the conversations that the prosecutor's office had with the family members about this. How important do you think that is? I mean, I would imagine it's not something that the prosecutors have to do as far as getting their input, but how important do you think that is?
I'm going to pause this. Thank you, Belladonna, for becoming a member. I'll start this over because he's talking to somebody about everything after the lawyer speaks, which we just heard. Belladonna, I'm going to grab the crazy train and pick you up on the way to Speculation Station. Thank you so much, Belladonna. I literally do feel like I am on a crazy train. I'm so just done. Okay, hold on. Let's see. I believe he can. AI will have it. Whoa. No. Why are we asking can step siblings marry? Let's just not. STEPHAN. Stephan's, oh no, that's facing multiple charges. Let me, we'll watch this and I'll see what I can find on it real quick, okay? Because I don't want to be putting out misinformation.
We heard there from Deborah Barra, kind of representing, as you mentioned,
we
Dr.
are
Slaughter,
here for each other. I think he can. I thought that's what was said.
For the family, for Tyler Wallace, the biological father of talk about the perspective of the family with things kind of coming to an end today. And she talked about the lack of closure that a death penalty case would have had just because of the years and years of appeals and those kinds of things that continue to bring up, unearth these difficult topics and conversations and all those kinds of things. I thought it was interesting to hear her kind of say that, they're okay with this, that this helps them in some ways have that sense of closure.
We do have a court TV video. Bazard, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm annoyed he gets to appeal the murder plea. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they said that he can appeal. I'm pretty sure of that. I was trying to check transcripts, but there's no transcripts out. I'm going to pause that so we can go over to court TV real quick because court TV did just put out an 8-minute video on it, and they're probably might have more information possibly, or a better lamest terms breakdown. Court. Okay, I'm going to do it this way. There we go.
Back inside of this Florida courtroom where we are watching together a plea hearing for a man who is about to plead guilty to the killing of Madeline Soto. It's Stephan Sterns.
Just one day before his sex crimes case was to begin, Sterns reached a plea deal. He is
Miss King of Anything said, if Tyler is telling the truth and Maddie wanted to live with him, maybe that's why Jen said she can no longer do whatever it is that she was talking about having to stop. That is a very possible thing, because if she knew that she might have to fight him in court, then yeah, she's going to be keeping everything on the up and up and everything perfect and acceptable. That could be why she broke up with Stephan. You know, okay, Madeline came back from her dad's in October. And then Stephan was out by December. That's when they broke up in October, wasn't it? Allegedly. And then she let him come back like 6 months. I mean, 3 months later, but it would have been 6 months after she visited Tyler. That's a very possible speculation. Maybe she said, if Tyler's going to fight me in court, then this shit has to stop. And that's why she made him leave, because she knew that Sterns wasn't there for her anyway. Possibly, allegedly speculating, just speculating.
Accused in the death and sexual abuse of 13-year-old Madeline Soto. Let's get back in the courtroom now, picking up right where we left off. The judge is conducting what's called a colloquy, where you make sure that this defendant is accepting this plea deal free and clear of any pressures. And he's asking him if he's been explained about what life in prison without parole means.
Yes, Your Honor. And in 24 CF 632, counts 1 through 8, the maximum potential sentence would be a mandatory sentence of life in prison without possibility of parole. 9 through 13 and 14 through 20 would be first-degree felony allegations with a maximum potential sentence of up to life in prison. You understand those maximum potential sentences on that case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that you have a right to have a jury trial as to each of these allegations? And at the jury trial, the state of Florida would have to prove those allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. At that trial, your attorneys would be with you. They are experienced, board-certified criminal expert trial attorneys. They would be cross-examining witnesses, examining the evidence against you. You would have a right to present your own witnesses and your own evidence. If you had witnesses that did not want to come to court, you could have asked me to make them come to court with a subpoena. You could have spoke at your trial, or you could have exercised your right to remain silent and not spoken. That would have been your decision after you talked those decisions over with your attorneys, and your jury would have been instructed not to consider your decision to remain silent in any way in rendering a verdict. You would have had a right to have your trial recorded and appeal any errors that occurred in the process. Do you understand you are giving up all of your trial rights if the court accepts this plea? Because I will be imposing the sentence that you have agreed with the state of Florida to be imposed upon you, and we will not be having a trial on any of these matters. Do you understand those things?
I understand.
So there's no trial for any of the matters at all, and it's for both cases. And I'm glad that they got this out here and we can actually hear what the hell he said this time.
And Your Honor, just for record purposes, counts 9 through 13 are first-degree felonies punishable by life, as the court indicated. Count 14 through 20 are actually life felonies.
Real quick, because we've been talking about it. Sorry, I can't type in. So the term no contest, also known as nolo contendere, is a legal phrase that means a person does not wish to contest or fight a charge against them in court. When someone pleads no contest, they are essentially saying, quote, I won't argue about this, but I'm not admitting that I did anything wrong, unquote. This plea does not admit guilt, but acknowledges the truth of the facts alleged in the indictment, allowing the court to treat the defendant as guilty for sentencing purposes. So basically, he said, I'm not guilty of this crime, but for the court's pleasure, go ahead and say that I'm guilty and sentence me to whatever. Although I'm making it known in this court of law that I do not agree and I did not do anything wrong. And I didn't expect more from that arrogant piece of shit.
These are life felonies with a minimum mandatory of 25 years. Is life a required sentence, or would that be a punishable by life offense?
It's a life, punishable by life offense. I just wanted the record to be clear. This court indicated first-degree felonies, punishable by life. I just wanted the record to be clear that 14 through 20 are life felonies with 25-year minimum mandatories.
So the plea form indicates that these are first-degree felonies. These are actually either capital offenses or punishable by life offenses. Do you understand that, Mr. Sterns?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is anyone forcing you or pressuring you into make the decision to resolve your case this way?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone made you any other promises other than what has been presented to you as the agreed upon sentence?
No, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or mental issues that cause you not to understand the decision that you are making?
I am not.
Do you understand if you are not a United States citizen, that entry of this plea would subject you to deportation proceedings?
Yes.
And if you ever before had been convicted of a sexually violent or a sexually motivated offense, entry of this plea would have subjected you to involuntary civil commitment at the conclusion of any incarcerative sentence. Do you understand that's the state of Florida law?
Yes.
Ms. Smith, do you have any competency concerns regarding Mr. Sterns' fitness to accept this plea agreement?
No, Judge.
Ms. Borden?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Sterns, based on your responses to the court, based on your indicating that you have reviewed this decision with your attorneys, based on your initialing of the plea form and your acknowledgement that you understand all the terms and conditions, rights and obligations on these plea forms, including the addendum, the court is going to make a determination that you are alert, that you have had an opportunity to discuss this with your attorneys, that you are making this decision freely and voluntarily and without coercion. The court accepts your plea. Let me see the attorneys.
Let's bring in John Day, trial attorney, still with us as we watch this hearing take place and unfold before us. Stephan Sterns there, the judge accepting the plea. John, what are your thoughts?
Judge accepted the plea for the defendant. Death penalties off the table, guaranteed life in prison without the possibility of parole. You always wonder what is going through the defendant's mind. Is it a sense of relief knowing his future? But more significantly, what's going through the minds of the victim's family? Is it relief that they got closure? Did they get the justice they wanted? Did they have to face a trial and the possibility of years of appeals? So it's always a question, how do the victims' families feel at that moment when they see the plea being accepted?
Oh, yeah, I've got a lot of questions about the main victim family member here, and that's the mother of Madeline Soto. We have to take a break, John Day.
Look at her face right here. She's just, I'm going to back it up a little bit when they talk about the mother. Watch this blonde-headed lady's face. Lady K Talks, I saw that you were in here. Were you able to make it to court? I was just wondering if you were able to get people walking in and out of the courtroom. I know you were going to try to make it out there. All right, again, watch when she talks about the mother, watch the blonde-headed lady's face.
Member here, and that's the mother of Madeline Soto. We have to take a break, John Day. Thank you for your.
Look, she puckered her lips up, rolled her eyes, blinked, and then looked at the camera. She's done with it too, beyond pissed. Exactly. She didn't even write a victim impact statement. Those victim impact statements were read by other people. All she had to do was sit down and write a fucking letter for her daughter that she sent to bed with a monster from the age of 9 years old, and she couldn't even be bothered to do that.
Analysis, but certainly we'll be asking that question. Is Jen Soto inside of this courtroom, and could she be seeing the inside of a courtroom in a different way now that Sterns has taken a plea?
Hold on.
News out of Kissimmee, Florida. The court has accepted a plea deal involving Stephan Sterns, where he is expected to enter guilty pleas to not only the killing of Madeline Soto, but countless counts of sexual exploitation, sexual battery, child pornography involving his girlfriend's 13-year-old. We're going to
He looks like a freaking alien right there, but look how dark his eyes are. It's like they're pure black. I mean, that picture right there has always creeped me out, and I think it creeps a lot of us out because he looks just evil to me. And then you look at Maddie, the face of innocence right there, and think about everything he did to her, and it just makes me want to punch my damn computer.
Back inside of that courtroom right now, where we see Stephan Sterns inside of that courtroom in between his two attorneys and the prosecution saying what they are offering in exchange for taking the death penalty off of the table.
Court has had discussion with the parties regarding the plea of no contest as to 24 CF 1293, first degree premeditated murder of Madeline Soto. Mr. Sterns, how do you plea to first degree premeditated murder in 24 CF 1293?
No contest.
And as to counts 1 through 8, capital sexual battery of Madeline Soto while she was under the age of 12. Counts 9 through 13, sexual battery of Madeline Soto between the ages of 12 and 18. And counts 14 through 20, lewd or lascivious molestation. How do you plead?
Guilty.
We also found, we also heard that the family found out about this plea agreement last week. Deborah Barrow talking about
Lord have
the
mercy.
input.
Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to be muted. I went away. I keep checking the news websites. I click on another page, and that's why I wasn't able to see that. Thank you guys for telling me. I know that the news is going to have some videos out on it, just like Court TV did. So I'm kind of looking for those to watch with you guys. I appreciate it. Lady K is at the courthouse. Awesome. I'm going to grab her link and drop that for you guys so you guys can subscribe to her if you haven't. I knew she was planning on going down there, but I wasn't sure if she was able to or not. I'm not going to stream sniper, but I will drop that if you guys want it. And I'm going to continue to check the news and try to get every little bit of information we can about this. I'm hoping that they'll tell us about the appeals so we can settle that argument. And so I'm just going to keep clicking through news stations and watch it with you guys for a few minutes until I can't really find anything else. And then we'll go for the day.
The conversations that the prosecutor's office had with the family members about
Hey,
this.
Kalisa.
How important
Hey,
do
Lori.
you think that is? I mean, I would imagine it's not something that the prosecutors have to do as far as getting their input, but how important do you think that is?
Communicating with the families is really important. And you are right. They don't have to get the input, but that's what a good prosecution team does. That's what a good prosecutor does. They listen and hear, and they hear and listen, and they take into account the family's desires, even though it may not be necessarily what the prosecution goes with. In this case, that did happen. I think it was very good navigating of the criminal justice system to see it work in this way. We have one victim We have a family. They were able to communicate, and it means something when the families can feel assured that the prosecutors and the team, that they hear them, that they respect them, and that they are listening, and that they value their input. So I think
I don't think that they feel like their input was valued at all, honestly. This is Lady K Talks, as you can see right here. She went to Osceola County Court live, Stephan Sterns. I'm not. This is like her newest video, but she is outside. She was outside the courthouse the whole time. They might not have let her go in, and then she talks about it. And then the one before this was her ride there. Um, She's really awesome. I like her. She's very sweet. She followed the Stearns case very closely as well. So make sure you guys subscribe to her if you haven't. Lily Gal, it's so good to see you. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Lily Gal said, notice her dad's lawyer went outside, didn't say no when asked outside, is anybody else involved? Judge said he has to apply to appeal within 30 days. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Lily Gal. That was what I remembered hearing. If he's going to appeal, he has to apply and within the first 30 days. I was pretty sure they said he could appeal, which really upset me. And I apologize for getting so angry and saying, maybe the judge should take him out to McDonald's or the Olive Garden while he's fucking at it. But I just was so filled with so many emotions, and I'm not an emotional person. I don't express emotion normally like most people do. But in that moment, I was just beside myself. So I do apologize for that. I should not have said that or been disrespectful, but damn it, when they let him speak and he basically gave his victim impact statement, I was just done. Thank you so much, Lily Gal. That was so very sweet of you. I appreciate it. You can see her in the background on Court TV's video of the lawyers afterwards. Really, Miss Kimmy, I'm going to have to look for that. Lady K, that's awesome. I'm so glad that she got to be there. I know she really wanted to. Okay.
I think it was really, really good in this particular case.
And they were also asked about the
Hey,
statement
all I
from
need is
Stearns,
Jesus.
and the reporter who asked said something about it, the Stearns apology, and I it certainly did not ever hear him say sorry or really any apologetic words there, and I think that was something that Deborah Barra kind of echoed, saying, I don't think she kind of heard that or took it that way either, and for the family members.
When I first came out and you asked me, I felt the same way that she felt. I thought it was disgusting, and I thought that it was bordering more pedophilia that he was able to put out there with his words. How he missed her. I wouldn't care if he said the words, "I'm sorry," because he was not. He is the reason why. He talked about he hoped she's singing or whatever he said with, are you kidding me?
He hoped that she was singing in the choir because she had a beautiful voice, is what that fucking piece of shit said. Excuse my French. Although Abellis is about to tell us that it's not French.
You're the reason why she is not here. It's almost like he thought this happened to someone else. Like he didn't do this to her. So, I just hope he can apologize while he's in prison.
Do you think that makes it, hearing that, made it worse for the family? I mean, we don't know exactly what they're feeling or what they may be thinking, that because they, didn't speak on their way out. But I have a hard time thinking that hearing that was helpful.
It was not helpful. I was angered by it. So many people that that was not helpful. I was angry. So I believe they are angry. I mean,
everyone is.
He is a person. He took this plea deal. It was self-serving. He did not mean anything by it except to save himself. And I think that the family it was disgusting. And I think they were disgusted by it. I am not speaking for them. I am speaking as a parent who understands this, and as a person, as a law enforcement. He's an evil individual. And the fact that he will never, ever engage anyone else is really important. really, really important. I
It's
see
done.
Randy joining us.
Yes, Randy is joining us. So I want to go ahead and bring her in here if I can. Let me see here. Because Randy, I know you were inside the courtroom, and I'm just curious. First of all, you know, we've been talking a lot about the emotion in there, but I'm curious as all of this was happening, as the sentences, you know, the sentences were being read out, all of these kinds of things. What was Stephan Sterns showing on his face? It was tough for us to see from our vantage point. I don't know if you were able to see or be able to tell any better than we were.
Yeah, and just to give you context, I was sitting directly behind him, so could not see his facial expressions. But as I watched him, as people were giving their impact statements or impact statements were being read on behalf of family members, he did not turn to look towards the person who was reading or speaking before the judge and the courtroom, and he sat very still. I will point out that, you know, in court, sometimes it was difficult to hear certain things because, you know, the nature of what was being discussed today, certainly pretty solemn. And so when state attorneys were speaking, their voices were a little bit lower. When the defense team was speaking, their voices were a little bit lower. But when Sterns was asked certain questions throughout today's plea hearing, he spoke pretty confidently, as if he had processed or come to terms with what was going on today. So couldn't see his facial expressions per se, but in his demeanor, in the way that he sat and the way that he spoke with a sense of confidence about what was unfolding today in the courtroom.
Dr. Slaughter and I have talked a lot about the statement that Sterns made at the end of the hearing and some of the things he said, some of the ways, you know, talking about missing Maddie, not making any sort of apology or that kind of thing. What was the reaction from family members as they're hearing this and processing this?
And if you see me looking around, I'm pulling up my notes from court. I was pretty surprised to hear that Sterns was going to speak today. It was at the very end. I saw him turn towards his attorney, Ms. Alicia Smith, and there was a brief conversation. And right before things wrapped up, you know, she announced to the court and to the judge that he had something to say. So I was interested to see and hear what he had to say, especially after hearing such powerful statements from family and friends and those who knew and loved Maddie. And sorry, we have a lot of motion around me. We're right outside of the courtroom, and within the last maybe 8 minutes or so, spoke with the attorney who is representing Tyler Wallace. That is Maddie Soto's dad, and he gave an impact statement. The attorney spoke on behalf of him after court wrapped up today. And, you know, she said, I can't speak on behalf of I can't tell you what Mr. Wallace may be thinking as he heard what Stephan Sterns had to say today. But she says from her perspective, she felt like it was disgusting.
Oh my God, I've been talking like for so long. Lordy Jesus. Sorry. Okay. Let me try this again. I asked if someone in protective custody pleads guilty and is sent to prison, will they be kept in protective custody or will they go to general population? AI told me if someone in protective custody pleads guilty and is sent to prison, they may not necessarily go to general population. The decision depends on various factors, including the nature of the crime, the individual's criminal history, and specific circumstances of the case. I do apologize. I'm on another page, so I can't see that I was muted. Thank you guys for trying to tell me. Oh my gosh, Lily Gal, thank you so very much. That was so sweet of you. Thank you. Lily Gal said Stephan Sterns' statement was like, quote, I didn't cause her not to be here, unquote. Wonder if Jen Soto charges are in the pipeline and he may testify against her. Therefore, quote, I didn't do it, so I have a right to say I miss her too. I wonder myself, I don't understand why the prosecution took the death penalty off the table. I hope, like, that's the one thing that would be good about this is if he's going to testify against Jen or say what she did or hold her culpable in some way, shape, or form, and that's why this happened. That would be the only benefit of this. Because at the end of the day, if they took the death penalty off the table and have made sure that Stephan Sterns will never see the light of day again outside of a jail cell or prison yard, and we get to hold Jen accountable, then I would say that's a good day. Yeah, I am flustered. I apologize. Okay, back to this. So, immediate custody. In some cases, individuals may be taken into custody immediately after a guilty plea, especially if they are deemed a flight risk or danger to the community. Now, P. Diddy probably would have been immediate custody, right? Because he's a flight risk. I don't think Stephan Sterns will be. I think it'll take 2 to 4 weeks to transfer him to prison. Protective custody. Some inmates may be placed in protective custody, which means they are segregated from the general population to prevent harm or self-harm. And then judicial discretion. Ultimately, the judge's discretion plays a critical role in determining the inmate's placement, considering all relevant factors. Thus, while there is a possibility of going to general population, it is not guaranteed based solely on a guilty plea. If I had to guess, judging by what the judge has said and done in this case, I would say that the judge is going to say that he has to be kept in protective custody because, I mean, I don't like the fact that Stephan Sterns spoke, but I think he's going to take the protection of Stephan above all, not necessarily because he wants to protect him, but because he wants to make sure he's alive and serves out every minute of every hour of every day in prison thinking about what he did, especially after that comment that even the media is having a hard terms coming to grip with, you know, even the media's upset about it. And said, I think the state agreed because the family didn't want images of Maddie broadcast, therefore victimized. And that's very possible. If that's the case, I'm sorry. I really am. And I'm probably going to upset some people when I say this. But I really feel like a jury needed to see all of the videos and all of the images so that they knew what he did to that child and they could make a decision on life or death for him. I'm sorry, but that's the way I see it. Madeline was victimized her whole life. I do not for any moment of any second of any day think that that needs to be broadcast for the public, nor does it need to be seen by anybody but a jury. But I think they needed to see it and make a decision on his life. Bazard said there's just no way he gets this kind of outcome for Sterns unless he gave up something on Jen's role to the years of abuse and what happened that night. I hope so. I scrolled down. A lot of people are agreeing. I think so too. Plus, it's dangerous for the prisoner. Yeah. The courts will always take the protection of criminals above all else. That's very true. The courts want the criminal to pay for their crimes. Yep. Tom said it's the correctional institution's decision if a prisoner goes into protective custody and for how long. I think they do have a lot to do with it as well. Hey, Mercedes. I remember Strategic once saying that no inmate will ever be held in protective custody. Huh. I think he will, honestly. You don't think he'll be in a Florida prison? You think they'll ship him out somewhere else? They might. Oh, I've already submitted one. And actually, while I was live, they asked me, they said there's over like 100. Hold on, I'll read it to you. Okay, so, you know, I said Stearns is pleading guilt. Actually, I've got it pulled up. I'll just read it to you. Hey, I said, hey, okay, can I please go ahead and submit my request for everything from the case that has not been released yet, but can be released after he pleads guilty? Thank you for your time. I can pay an invoice. They said, hello, I have no way of estimating how many hours that will take into the hundreds of hours. That's how much shit there is. Hundreds of hours. How many hours would you like the invoice written for? I usually issue an invoice for that, then issue supplemental invoices until the case review is complete. And I said, I just start with 10 to 20 hours. So as soon as they send me an invoice, I'm going to go ahead and pay for the first 10 to 20 hours, whatever they send me an invoice for, and work on getting that information. And I'm going to get it out here as soon as I can. You think Jim will leave the country? Puerto Rico is actually part of the United States, but might. Bazard said, I'm not surprised there's hundreds of hours of files related to this case. Lordy, yeah, hundreds of hours. And that's from the state attorney's office.
That he would apologize or that he spoke in the way that he did following everything that he heard. I want to discuss some of the things that he said. I think the last thing he told the judge was, I will miss her all the time. I will never not honor her memory, and I apologize for the pain. I think that was his last statement wrapping up his sentiments to the judge and to the family. I would say throughout just the impact statements, and when the family heard that Sterns was going to speak, you could hear almost shifting in the courtroom of people moving in their seats.
Yep.
Maybe as surprised as I was that he was going to say something, and there was almost a beat in the courtroom when he made that last sentence. I will always miss her. I apologize for the pain, considering everything that they are feeling right now. And there was, from my perspective, I could feel a little bit of tension in the room because a lot of the family members, and you all were watching and listening along, a lot of them had some very strong things to say about the outcome of everything. The family, the attorney representing Tyler Wallace talked about.
Now, all I need is Jesus. They won't send me any of the pictures or videos of Maddie being abused. That's not able to be released. And I wouldn't want it either.
Coming to terms with the outcome today, maybe not necessarily the family feeling like they got justice, but that this is something that they will have to deal with and have to live with as the resolve for this case. And one of the things that really stood out to me is that a lot of the family and friends, mentioned the fact that death penalty is off the table. He will spend the rest of his life in prison. A lot of them said that they hope that he has a very healthy life so that he has a long time to sit in jail and think about what he has,
Bella.
said that he has done to Maddie Soto. And so there was definitely a shift in the atmosphere when he began to give his statement to the judge.
I would imagine, though, it was pretty heavy in there the whole time. I mean, we heard the emotion and could see it from so many of those family members, those friends, those loved ones, all talking about how much they loved Maddie and how much they miss her.
Certainly so. When you heard from, I believe, two aunts, Tyler Wallace, Maddie's dad, and he talked about the last time that he had an opportunity to be with his daughter. He mentioned that, he kind of had a strained relationship, didn't have a chance to be in her life as much as he wanted. He said the last time he, spoke and saw what Maddie was during an October 2023 visit. And he talked about when I dropped her off at the airport, the last conversation that we had at that time was about living arrangements and if she wanted to come and live with him. And, according to Mr. Wallace, Maddie had wanted to potentially go live with her father.
Yep.
Fast forward to February 2024, only a few months later, she turned 13 and she was killed. And
I think that was what he was trying to relay when he spoke. I know it upset a lot of people, but I think that's generally what he was trying to relay. He was so close to having her full time, and then it was stolen from him. All right, Belladonna said, this is where we hear about the appeals. Thank you for the timestamp. We're going to listen and see what is said, what we can hear. I'll make it big. Closed captions are on.
Sexual penetration points of 80 times 5 and sex contact points of 40 times 7. Any errors, corrections, or omissions to the score sheet? Ms. Smith? Ms. Borden?
No, Your Honor.
25-year minimum mandatory sentence as to the counts requiring a minimum mandatory sentence are imposed.
They fixed the audio. I don't think the families wanted this.
You have the right to appeal the judgment and sentences of the court. If you wish to do so, you must do so in writing within the next 30 days. You cannot afford an attorney.
All right, I'm going to back that up just a little bit so it's clear.
The 25-year minimum mandatory sentence.
Oh, we have to hear this part again. Sorry.
Counts requiring a minimum mandatory sentence are imposed. Mr. Sterns, you will have the right to appeal the judgment and sentences of the court. If you wish to do so, you must do so in writing within the next 30 days. You cannot afford an attorney. One will be appointed for you. The appeal will be limited to the jurisdiction of the court to impose the sentence. Legality of the sentence itself is a condition of your agreement with the state of Florida. You are agreeing not to appeal the pretrial rulings of the court. State, anything else? Defense, anything else?
So he has the right to appeal, but he is agreeing not to appeal the pretrial rulings of the court. So that means he has the right to appeal but can't appeal. Let's see if we can find it on Google real quick. See what it says. If you have waived your right to appeal as part of a plea agreement, it means you are not allowed to challenge the court's decision through any appeal. The waiver is separate from other rights, such as the right to trial by jury. However, you can still file a notice of appeal within a specified time frame after your sentence. But this will not allow the appellate court to consider most claims of error. It is important to understand that waiving your right to appeal can have significant legal implications, and you should consult with a legal professional to fully grasp the consequences of the decision. So I'm thinking he had the right to appeal, but agreed not to as part of the deal. We'll go back and see if the judge had said anything else about it regarding that afterwards, real quick. And then we'll go back to listening to the people speak about Tyler. Oh, that's his statement. I can't even do it again. Listen to him be the victim. Not going to happen, Captain. So I'm going to listen to that.
Penetration points of
Sorry.
80
I'm going to listen to that one more time.
Sex contact points of 40 times
I agree.
7. Any errors, corrections, or omissions to the score sheet? Ms. Smith? Ms. Borden?
No, Your Honor.
25-year minimum mandatory sentence as to.
So Abraham said he can appeal the legality of the sentence. Has the court acting within the confines of the law when they imposed that sentence? Okay. So he can appeal the legality of the sentence that they just imposed, is what you're saying? That basically he can appeal the legality of him spending for life without the possibility of parole sentences consecutively or concurrent, the one that means back to back. He can't appeal any of the judgments that came up and were decided upon before his plea agreement. Okay. That makes sense. Thank you, SD. Okay.
The counts requiring a minimum mandatory sentence are imposed. Mr. Stearns, you will have the right to appeal the judgment and sentences of the court. If you wish to do so, you must do so in writing within the next 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. The appeal will be limited to the jurisdiction of the court to impose the sentence. Legality of the sentence itself is a condition of your agreement with the state of Florida. You are agreeing not to appeal the pretrial rulings of the court.
Okay, so yeah, basically he can, but he agreed not to. Yes, and it will be denied. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, go back to this.
And he talked about, we all unfortunately experience the impact of death and grief, but he says this is not like anything else
Bye, Michelle.
because the longer I have to sit with everything that I know that she has experienced, the more difficult it becomes, really having a tough time managing grief. And you could hear that and how in his impact statement to the courtroom, and you talk, I believe he said something along the lines of not being able to see the woman my daughter would have grown up to be. And you can, I'm not a parent, but I can imagine how difficult that is as a parent, thinking of everything that I want my child to be, everything that my child has articulated to me that they want for themselves. And as a parent, I know my mom has dreams for me, and to have that cut short in that way was very difficult. And you could hear it in what he told the courtroom today.
Yeah, I will never meet the woman she was becoming. The quote from Tyler Wallace
Okay.
there. We talked about just how heartbreaking that was to hear about that.
Yeah, just it was you hit the nail on the head. Just a heavy day in court, in the moments of silence, as they were transitioning
Hey,
to the
Blue
next
Jay.
person to come and give an impact statement. You could hear the sniffles of people crying. And after Tyler and his wife, Maddie's stepmom, went to go sit down, you could hear her begin to sob a little bit. Just I imagine it's layered. The anxiety of what today brings, having to get up and share your truth and your pain in front of the judge, in front of the courtroom, standing very close to the person who has, who was accused and is, he pled no contest, but ultimately, pled guilty to sexually abusing her for years. To be that close, just the weight and the emotions and I can't speak for the family. I don't know if it's a relief to have been able to say your piece to the person who was accused of doing this to your loved one, or just the weight of the adrenaline coming down from that moment. But there were a lot of tears in that courtroom today.
Yeah, and they certainly did not hold back, calling him a parasite, speaking
monster.
of their hatred for him, calling him a creature. You do not deserve peace. You do not deserve mercy. One of the things that also struck me, may God forgive him, because I definitely do not.
And I'm glad that those people were allowed to say those things. Chuckerlegs, good to see you. Chuckerlegs said, I want him to have gotten the death penalty, but not put to death for many years. So this motherfucker worries about if he will be offed every single day. And I hope he does have to live with that. I hope he does. I hope he gets half of what he gave Maddie, and so he knows what it feels like. I'm sorry. I do. That's mean. That's probably wrong. I should probably ask God to make my heart a little softer on the situation, but that's just how I feel. If you listen to Tyler's statement, he sounded to me like he wanted him on life in prison. You think so? Maybe. He heard the judge say Stephan Sterns agreed not to appeal with his plea, but I missed the prior part. Okay, go. I just played it. The whole hearing is at the beginning of the live, sweetheart. death row inmates are more protected than what he will be now. That's true, Vanessa. Yep. If it can be for the defense of a future crime or to help the family of the accused who might just find himself in a position to need a homicide or defense in the future. Maybe. Jen did not speak. She did not show up. She didn't even write a victim impact statement. She's probably sleeping, allegedly speculating.
That he's
Talking about wanting him, yes, talking specifically that and saying, they hope he lives a long life so that he can suffer for a long time as well. Well, Fox 35's Randy Hildreth, we appreciate you joining us and appreciate your coverage on this in court today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Randy.
Thank you.
And before we wrap up here, I do want to bring in Dr. Slaughter one more time here. And where do things go from here now? I know we talked about the pre-sentence investigation that has been waived. You talked about the potential for some sort of appeal, but
wait a minute. Okay, so they're about to talk about the appeal. Kalisa said it sounded like Deb had already discussed his plea with him earlier. Another creator insisted it would be easier for Maddie this way. They did. But I think that's just to make themselves feel better. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people see it like it would be easier for Maddie and she's not going to be as victimized. But I'm sorry. I feel like people needed to see that and make a judgment on his life. Only the people that needed to make a judgment should be allowed to see it, and the judge, if he needs to see it, and then make a decision. I'm sorry. That's how I feel about that. I'm not going to feel any other way about it. I'm terribly sorry to the people who would have to see it and the mental health they would need after seeing it and the judge and all of that. But I think it should have been displayed, and those people that saw it should have made a decision on his life, and then it should be burned and thrown away and nobody else ever see it again.
Time here. And
right. I'm going to be quiet because they're talking about the appeals. So everybody listen up.
Where do things go from here now? I know we talked about the pre-sentence investigation that has been waived. You talked about the potential for some sort of appeal, but where do things go now as the family members try to close this chapter of the legal battle and move on? What's next?
Lily Gal, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that so very much. You're so very sweet. Thank you. Lily Gal said, get some fresh air, hug your babies, fur babies, and unwind love. Swimming in the pool of pond scum that is Stephan Sterns, and his voice is a toxin to the soul. I agree. Thank you so much for that. I am going to go hug my babies. Basil is not in here. He was. I was holding him when Stephan was talking. I appreciate that. That was so very sweet of you. I am going to go outside and hang out for a little while. I've got some cleaning to do too after we get done because I feel like justice was not, there was no justice. There was essentially some justice, but not what I wanted. But, it's not up to me.
So I'm sure there'll be another conversation with the prosecution and the family, to wrap up the day. They'll give them some time to, and if the family has any additional questions, that will be, they'll make themselves available for the family. The other thing that's really important at this time is for the family, for the victims witness coordinator, because the father does not live in Florida, and there are family members scattered throughout, but for the victims witness coordinator to get with the family and provide any type of services or access to services, information around services and support if they haven't already been getting that, and also to ensure that they are getting that. This is a critical time for them where they need to see someone other than one another, because while they can get each other through the tough times, they can't get each other through all of the times, and they really need some foundational support. Also, in every state, in all of the 50 states, there's something called the Victims Compensation Commission, and that provides some financial support and relief to families depending on what their needs are. In addition, maybe transportation, like I said, some finances. So hopefully they will have gone through that process. If not, they will be going through that process to get any type of financial assistance and support that is available to families of crime victims. They should also consider joining crime victims groups. You know, there are a lot of clubs that we always want to be in. This is not one of them, but organizations and groups are available to help victims of crime, and the Crime Victims Compensation Commission can also do that. I would suggest that they take time to breathe. This was a lot today for them. They had to travel there. Some of them, they had to come there. This is still a process. It can take decades, not to heal in the way people think, but to kind of get a measure of yourself and your circumstances. They need all of that. And
I agree. Mercedes, thank you so much for the super chat. Mercedes said, starting the train, but I have nothing to say. I appreciate that. That's so very sweet of you. Thank you for that, Mercedes. You're so sweet. Y'all are all so sweet. I appreciate y'all being here with me while we went through this. I could not have watched this alone. Lady K, my hat is off to you for going in that courtroom. I could not have done it. I would have been very, very emotional. They probably would have tased me. I mean, because I'm, you know, when you've been to jail, you ain't scared to go back. And so it's probably a good thing that God said, no, you can't go to that court hearing today. But I could not have done this without you guys, and I appreciate you guys being here and for all the support. Lily Gal said no more root beer candy or books for him. Clean out his books for the victim's family. The death penalty actually would have had a better chance of appeal. Court TV was discussing possible charges. Okay, we'll look. Totally see that coming. He will be in prison forever, but he still took no accountability. He didn't. Absolutely none.
Need to take whatever time they need to get that done. And I'm a person that prays, so I will be praying for them. I hope the rest of the world will pray for them. This is a very hard case. But this is the beginning of closure for them, because he will never, ever leave where he is now. And
I thought about that too. They are getting closure. I know that they talked about it doesn't get easier. I think it will get easier now that he has been sentenced. When somebody dies in such a horrendous way, and then you have to wait for trial and you don't know how that's going to go, I could definitely see it being very hard to heal. Now that he's been sentenced and they know that he, you know, what the sentence is, maybe it'll be easier for them to start the healing process. Death row inmate. Oh yeah, sometimes they give them cats and all kinds of stuff. It's ridiculous. If I was related to Maddie, I'd take a few weeks or months of Okay, hold on. If I was related to Maddie, I'd take a few weeks or months of charges if I was able to get my hands on him. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, he hated the camera focusing on him, but he deserved that and so much more.
should give them a measure of comfort and peace.
Well, Dr. Sunny Slaughter, we
won't.
appreciate you joining us throughout this as this case has moved forward and now comes to a close. Today, we appreciate your time.
Hopefully.
And really appreciate you joining us this afternoon here on Fox 35 News Plus.
Thank you for having me.
And that is going to wrap up our coverage right now of Stephan Sterns, the state of Florida versus Stephan Sterns, again, sentenced today, multiple life sentences after pleading no contest to murder, pleading guilty to several counts in the sexual battery case against him, thus ending this chapter of the legal path to today. And the end of this case on the eve of what would have been jury selection for his sexual battery trial, now sentenced and now heading to prison. We appreciate you joining us this afternoon here on this extended Fox 35 News Plus here on Fox Local and on YouTube. We'll be back at 4 o'clock with more live coverage, so you can keep it here. Have a good afternoon.
It is 4 o'clock, but I'm going to go to Court TV real quick just to see. Belladonna said, "Oh my God," in calls with his parents, his whole deal was to get off death row or possibility of death row so he can get out in 25 years and then set him up a trust fund. Oh my God, that disgusting effort. I don't think he'll get out in 25 years. I think it was ruled that they're served back to back. So he'd have to serve a mandatory 100 years, or if, I mean, good behavior. I don't know if good behavior would qualify for a crime like this. But hold on, let's see. Before I go to opening my mouth. In Florida, good behavior can lead to a reduction in a prison sentence through the gain time policy. The policy allows inmates to earn credits for good behavior and participation in rehabilitative programs, which can be applied toward early release. Inmates can earn credits for avoiding disciplinary infractions and maintaining good conduct. Engaging in educational, vocational, or rehabilitative programs can also result in good time credits. Recent changes in Florida's gain time policy reflect a shift towards rehabilitation, allowing for more generous reductions for good behavior. Overall, maintaining good behavior and participating in rehabilitative activities can significantly impact an inmate's chances of reducing their sentence. Okay, so let's see. In Florida, if someone is given 4 life sentences for a mandatory 100 years, they would typically need to serve at least 75 years before having a possibility of parole, as each life sentence is considered to be 15 years. However, the exact timeline for parole eligibility can vary based on the specific circumstances and laws in place. Generally, a defendant may be eligible for parole after a set number of years, which can range from 20 to 40 years, depending on state's law. So even with good behavior, he'd have to serve out 75 years. Lily Gal said he's still showing total not minutes of Maddie's demise. Absolutely he is. His allocation smacked me of, not me, I have a right to miss her too. Yeah. Yep. No content. It's not appropriate. Hey, Anita. Jen Soto just proved us all right there that she never won. Okay. Jen Soto just proved us all right that she never wanted or cared for her baby girl. Loyalty to Stephan. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what are you going to say? That you just didn't want to lay eyes on him? That's not good enough. That's not good enough for me. Why were you not there for your baby girl? Why? It couldn't even be bothered to write a freaking victim impact statement. Couldn't even be bothered to do that. I don't see anything on court TV regarding Stephan. That's from beforehand. We can watch. Hold on. I'm going to check the news channels in the area to see if they have put out any videos on it. What Stephan Sterns said after no contest plea. So we can watch that. That's 32 minutes ago.
Let's place Mr. Sterns under, he's been previously placed under oath.
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to make a
Oh,
brief
that's
statement.
its fucking statement. Hell no. Hell no. Okay. We need News 6 Orlando. They have nothing on it right now. I think Fox is where we were at. They're live on it again, but I don't
To
know
trade
that it's
places with
anything.
her, to take me instead.
Oh, stop it.
And unfortunately, that's just not how he works. I have nothing but sorrow for her loss. And I miss her all the time. Her passing has torn me and my family apart as well.
Oh, stop it.
And she truly was a joy.
She was a joy that you destroyed. Literally.
I pray to God that she is in heaven and that he's taking good care of her.
Trying to sound like he's fucking crying.
And I hope she gets to join the choir because she had a beautiful voice.
Oh
I will
my
miss
God.
her all the time. I will never not honor her memory. And I apologize for all the pain.
I apologize for all the pain. That's the only words of apology we heard. And I do know from
Me
other
too.
folks, that we talked to that that statement that he made kind of rubbed some folks
Yep.
the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't know what you say in a case like this that doesn't sound self-aggrandizing, whatever the word might be there. But one other thing about this story here. So Jen Soto didn't talk today. I don't know if people expected her to. So you'd like to think we're done with this trial. I normally don't say this about trials that just wrap up, but it's to acknowledge what we see on social media because we see the same stuff you do. A lot of people think there's more to come on this case. Yes, it puts.
So they're going to talk about basically, I'm assuming the possibility of him rolling on people, which will be interesting and we probably need to listen to. Abraham said, if given life with parole, then you can get credit for good behavior. When it's life without parole, no chance in hell of getting out. The next time Stephan Sterns leaves prison, it will be to a cemetery. Thank you for that because I didn't even think about it. I appreciate that. Yeah, he was given life without the possibility of parole, so therefore no good credit can be given. Thank you.
Stephan Sterns away, but I don't know if it's going to go anywhere from here. It could be over, but when you have the social media class out there, and have you seen I joined the pages right after she disappeared. There are hundreds of pages.
Yes.
And people still don't think it's over for, some of the things they say still don't add up. So I don't know if this is over. So we'll see where it goes from here. Okay, how about this one? It is official. Former Senator Blaise Ngolia has been sworn in as the state's new.
So that's all that they're going to have on it right now, I do believe. Yeah.
For the name, because we're going to be.
All right, I'm going to check on Court TV one more time because I know you said we watched that one video. I can play it again before we go, but I'm not seeing anything on it. Let's see what's live. Yeah, they got 2 trials live. The honor killing one, I want to look into that. Like, I want to know what the deal is with that one. I think I remember something about that. But we'll watch this one more time where they talk, and that woman is just absolutely disgusted with the fact that Jen Soto did not show up, and then we'll probably go for the day, unless somebody else has put out another video.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. Let's get you back inside of this Florida courtroom where we are watching together a plea hearing for a man who is about to plead guilty to the killing of Madeline Soto. It's Stephan Sterns.
Just one day before his sex crimes case was to begin, Sterns reached a plea deal. He is accused in the death and sexual abuse of 13-year-old Madeline Soto.
Yeah. Anita pointed out, it would not be surprising, or I would not be surprised if the inmates watched this as it happened. He thinks he had it rough with the comments in the yard. He ain't seen nothing yet. Absolutely. Yeah, you thought that it was bad with the people crowding around your fenced-in cage, hollering at you and telling you what a piece of shit you were. You ain't seen shit. Yes, the documents will be available for purchase. I have submitted a request, but I'm going to have to pay for them. It's possible, but Jen still requires some form of punishment for being such a neglectful parent. I agree.
Let's get back in the courtroom now, picking up right where we left off. The judge is conducting what's called a colloquy, where you make sure that this defendant is accepting this plea deal free and clear of any pressures. And he's asking him if he's been explained about what life in prison without parole means.
Yes, Your Honor. And in 24 CF 632, counts 1 through 8, the maximum potential sentence would be a mandatory sentence of life in prison without possibility of parole. 9 through 13 and 14 through 20 would be first-degree felony allegations with a maximum potential sentence of up to life in prison. You understand those maximum potential sentences on that case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that you have a right to have a jury trial as to each of these allegations? And at the jury trial, the state of Florida would have to prove those allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. At that trial, your attorneys would be with you. They are experienced, board-certified criminal expert trial attorneys. They would be cross-examining witnesses, examining the evidence against you. You would have a right to present your own witnesses and your own evidence. If you had witnesses that did not want to come to court, you could have asked me to make them come to court with a subpoena. You could have spoke at your trial, or you could have exercised your right to remain silent and not spoken. That would have been your decision after you talked those decisions over with your attorneys, and your jury would have been instructed not to consider your decision to remain silent in any way in rendering a verdict.
So I'm guessing by law he has to lay out what could happen if he goes to trial and how he would be helped and I guess the benefits of going to trial. But if it's not required by law, I'm wondering why the judge is laying that out for him. Like, I could have made people come to court for you. You could have remained silent. It by law couldn't have been held against you. Like, why are we doing that?
You would have had a right to have your trial recorded and appeal any errors that occurred in the process. Do you understand you are giving up all of your trial rights if the court accepts this plea? Because I will be imposing a sentence that you have agreed with the state of Florida to be imposed upon you, and we will not be having a trial on any of these matters. Do you understand those things?
I understand.
And, Your Honor, just
I think you two bad actors, I think he's still blaming it on her. I think he's saying that she took medication that she shouldn't have taken or overdosed herself or that Jen did it, yes. But again, I mean, that little fucking statement he made, he's taken no accountability. But you know what? Like Ann said, he doesn't have to pay rent or go to work. So there you go, Stephan, just like you always wanted it. Justice for Maddie would have been him pleading guilty to everything, right? That's why I was so upset about the judge accepting the no contest. And then after that, just to put the icing on the fucking cake of hate, he fucking made that statement. Mercedes, thank you for the super chat. That was so very sweet and supportive of you, and I really appreciate it. Mercedes said, document fund started. Try to hook up with Plunder and Gavin to pool resources. That would be a good idea. I don't know if they would talk to me. Considering the email situation, I think everybody would probably steer very clear of me right now. But I've thought about that before, but I like to pull the stuff myself and kind of get what I can myself, and then let other people get their stuff, and then FOIA it, and more than likely can get it. So I appreciate it. I might reach out, I might not, I don't know. Thank you though. Lady K said, right, he should feel right at home, in my opinion. I agree. Yep, he should feel right at home. I can't believe you went to court. That's crazy, Lady K. He makes me sick too, you two bad actors.
for record purposes, counts 9 through 13 are first-degree felonies punishable by life, as the court indicated. Count 14 through 20 are actually life felonies.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah. Her autopsy said her hyoid bone was displaced or broken, possibly broken. You're right. And so, but in the jail phone calls, he says that he walked away. He walked around the house like a ghost in the fucking night, and then came back and she was blue, ice cold, all things that don't even make sense. Plus, we've gone over extensively how rigor mortis would have set in by the time that he's got her in the car and moving her to the trunk and all that. So I don't know. This is the one on TV right now. Yeah, this one's a little bit older. In my opinion, Stephan Sterns' mind thinks they were in love. Yep. And she just took too many pills. It was not his fault. He did not abuse her. It was love. Makes me so freaking sick. I could punch a hole in the wall. Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. Abraham, I would love to help with I would love to work with you, and we could get stuff together and release it together. I would do that because you're an active participant in my chat, and I know you've got your page. I'll drop your link too, because Sinners and Saints, I saw that you did one on Pride Month, and I thought it was really cool. I'll grab your link. Yeah, get with me, email me, and maybe we can get some stuff together and release it You know, you can release something, I can release something, and we can go back and forth. That would be cool. Blue Sapphire said, of course, he would blame Maddie. Poor baby girl. He blames the world for everything. It is not justice. This was a solid case. It was. It was.
These are life felonies with a minimum mandatory of 25 years. Is life a required sentence, or would that be a punishable by life offense?
It's a life, punishable by life offense. I just wanted the record to be clear. This court indicated first degree felonies, punishable by life. I just wanted the record to be clear that 14 through 20 are life felonies with 25-year minimum mandatories.
So the plea form indicates that these are first degree felonies. These are actually either capital offenses or punishable by life offenses. Do you understand that, Mr. Sterns?
Yes, Your Honor.
He knows he can.
Is anyone forcing you or pressuring you into make the decision to resolve your case this way?
Mm-hmm.
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone made you any other promises other than what has been presented to you as the agreed upon sentence?
No, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or mental issues that cause you not to understand the decision that you are making?
I am not.
Do you understand if you are not a United States citizen, that entry of this plea would subject you to deportation proceedings?
Yes.
So the Son of Sam law, Donna, means that he can't make money if he does do a book. I'll pull that up real quick. Well, if he does, hold on. Because the Son of Sam made a bunch of money, and it is a law across the nation. So the Son of Sam law is designed to prevent criminals from profiting from the publicity of their crimes, such as selling their stories to publishers. Named after the infamous serial killer David Berkowitz. I would love to deep dive David Berkowitz because I've heard some things about that case recently that make me question a lot of things. That's a good one. Anyway, named after David Berkowitz, these laws allow states to seize any earnings from expressive works like books or films about the crimes and redirect them to the victims of their family. Since 1977, many states have enacted various forms of these laws to ensure that criminals do not benefit financially from their actions. However, these laws have faced legal challenges regarding their constitutionality, particularly concerning First Amendment rights. Let's see if it's in Florida. Florida's Son of Sam law allows the state to take money that criminals or people working on their behalf earn from books, movies, or other depictions of the crime. It is one of about 40 states that puts liens on the earnings from such works if the criminal or their family members benefit. In some cases, the laws have been upheld, such as a 2007 Florida appeals court ruling that allowed the seizure of a convicted serial homicide's property and proceeds from writing about his crime. And if Deb feels like that there's money to be made and she can't make it, I really feel like it's going to be an issue. Allegedly, allegedly speculating. Remember, he didn't start creating statements leaning towards Maddie did it to herself until he knew information was being distributed online. Yep. I bet his dad instructed him to set up his story. Very possible. Concurrent describes things that are occurring or people who are doing something at the same time, such as concurrent users of a computer program. Consecutive refers to things that are arranged. Thank you for that. You're welcome, Donna. Yep. Cutting into the root beer barrel fun.
And if you ever before had been convicted of a sexually violent or a sexually motivated offense, entry of this plea would have subjected you to involuntary civil commitment at the conclusion of any incarcerative sentence. Do you understand that's the state of Florida law?
Yes.
That's a good question, Hannah UK. So Deb can't make money from YouTube. That's a good question. I would say no, but somebody would have to take it to court and prove that Deb was making money from YouTube and try to like pursue her. And then you would get into legality about, okay, is it specifically off the crime or is it like emails that she's distributing that are between her and her son, being kind of like it would be by proxy related to the crime, but not about the crime itself, if that makes any sense. That's a good question. I'm not sure of the answer.
Ms. Smith, do you have any competency concerns regarding Mr. Sterns' fitness to accept this plea agreement?
No.
Ms. Borden?
No, Your Honor.
That's a good point. So the charges is first-degree homicide, 60 charges related to sexual battery, molestation, possession of child of CSAM. And then Sandra pointed out, I bet the state took this because they can prove the SA, him having her in the car, but can't prove the actual act of the homicide. And that is true. Like, we still to this day don't know exactly who committed the homicide. So maybe that is why they took this plea. Because if he did go to court on the homicide, nobody can prove that it was actually him who did it. So that's a good point. That could be what it was.
Mr. Stearns, based on your responses to the court, based on your indicating that you have reviewed this decision with your attorneys, based on your initialing of the plea form and your acknowledgement that you understand all the terms and conditions, rights and obligations on these plea forms, including the addendum, the court is going to make a determination that you are alert, that you have had an opportunity to discuss this with your attorneys, that you are making this decision freely and voluntarily and without coercion. The court accepts your plea. Let me see the attorneys.
Let's bring in John Day, trial attorney, still with us as we watch this hearing take place and unfold before us. Stephan Sterns there.
I am so sorry, Ann, and I missed your comment, but I saw that Lily Gal had also said that she was so sorry, and I am so sorry as well. That's horrible. I'm so sorry you ever had to go through anything like that. And Malibu Surf, what's going on? I had a crazy, yeah, I'm sorry. I did too. A lot of us have. I'm so sorry for y'all. That's a hard thing, and I'm glad that y'all were able to get away. I think Tyler would fuck him up. I do.
The judge accepting the plea. John, what are your thoughts?
Judge accepted the plea for the defendant. Death penalties off the table, guaranteed life in prison without the possibility of parole. You always wonder what is going through the defendant's mind. Is it a sense of relief, knowing his future? But more significantly, what's going through the minds of the victim's family? Is it relief that they got closure? Did they get the justice they wanted? Did they have to face a trial and the possibility of years of appeals? So it's always a question, how do the victims' families feel at that moment when they see the plea being accepted?
Oh yeah, I've got a lot of questions about the main victim family member here, and that's the mother of Madeline Soto. We have to take a break. John Day, thank you for your analysis, but certainly we'll be asking that question. Is Jen Soto inside of this courtroom, and could she be seeing the inside of a courtroom in a different way now that Sterns has taken a plea?
So, hold on. This might be like live on Court TV. I don't know. They might have it like live on there right now, but they haven't uploaded it to YouTube. They just have this part because it's like it kind of cuts off. It's irritating, but we'll listen to it.
Breaking news out of Kissimmee, Florida. The court has accepted a plea deal involving Stephan Sterns, where he is expected to enter guilty pleas to not only the killing of Madeline Soto, but countless counts of sexual exploitation, sexual battery, child pornography involving his girlfriend's 13-year-old.
How can you look at that face and see anything other than innocence? I will never understand. Her big blue eyes, her beautiful smile. I mean, I don't understand.
Old. We're going to get you back inside of that courtroom right now, where we see Stephan Sterns inside of that courtroom in between his two attorneys and the prosecution saying what they are offering in exchange for taking the death penalty off of the table.
Court has had discussion with the parties regarding the plea of no contest as to 24 CF 1293, first degree premeditated murder of Madeline Soto.
It says defendant Stephan Sterns was the boyfriend of Madeline's mother, Jennifer Soto. They all lived together in an apartment complex. I mean, like someone said earlier in chat, I don't think she even deserves the title of mother. She's not a mother. She couldn't even be bothered to fucking write an impact statement, much less be there. Tyler came all the way from Texas. I know a lot of you don't like him. I get it. But, like, at least he was there. And Tatiana, all the way from Texas. Jen Soto lives in fucking Kissimmee and couldn't even take a minute to type up a letter, write a letter, whatever. She might as well handed in some dirty toilet tissue. That's about what it was like. I mean, I just can't. I would punch her in the face if I saw her. That's not a threat because I'm never going to see her, but I would feel like it, allegedly speculating.
Sterns, how do you plea to first degree premeditated murder in 24 CF 1293?
No contest.
And as to counts 1 through 8, capital sexual battery of Madeline Soto while she was under the age of 12. Counts 9 through 13, sexual battery of Madeline Soto between the ages of 12 and 18. And counts 14 through 20, lewd or lascivious molestation. How do you plead?
Guilty.
And then that's the end of it. That's expected to plead guilty. And they talk about that, but that was beforehand. That was from, it says 4 hours ago, but we'll see what it is real quick.
Our detectives have determined that Madeline was never dropped off. Instead, we believe she was already dead at the time and that Stephan Sterns moved her body.
Why and how did this happen? Like, we cannot begin to process how could this happen.
Today, we're announcing that Stephan Sterns has been indicted by the grand jury on first-degree murder for the killing of Madeline Soto.
A huge development this morning out of Florida as Stephan Sterns is set to have a plea hearing today. Now, this is just one day before his sex abuse trial was set to begin. Our legal eagles are weighing in on the potential plea this morning.
So we can watch this even though it's from before the hearing. Kalisa said, do you all think Jim was afraid of all the hate towards her and that's why she wouldn't show up? Absolutely. I absolutely do. 100%. But she could have at least written a fucking statement for her only child. Like, get all the fucking way out of here. Take 17,000 seats. What was it? Yeah. 1,700 seats, ma'am, on a damn thumbtack. 1,700 images. She needs to take 1,700 seats on the damn thumbtack.
Plus, some shocking new autopsy details revealed. We're shining a spotlight on the Idaho student murders case as we're gearing up for Brian Kohberger's sentencing on Wednesday. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. We've got a wonderful show planned for you, so let's get it started. Grab that cup of coffee or tea, whatever you're having this morning. It's time for my opening statement. Justice for Madeline Soto.
These nuts is here. Sorry, I just wanted to say that because it makes me happy to say your name. Thank you for being here. These nuts. Basil just came in too. He is here with us.
That's what police and prosecutors are aiming for in Florida with the cases against defendant Stephan Sterns. I call this guy Sicko Sterns because of these sickening allegations levied against him by the state of Florida. Prosecutors allege that he behaved like a predator, grooming, sexually assaulting, and murdering an innocent child, Madeline Soto, the 13-year-old daughter of his girlfriend. Those are sickening, sinister allegations against Sicko Sterns.
I think that she'll still apply for it, a name here. I really do. But I hope that whoever makes those decisions will weigh the fact that she wasn't even in court.
And today we may see a plea of guilty from him.
We did.
And if that happens, it's a smart move. If he pleads, he's legally smart to be throwing himself at the mercy of the justice system and hoping he can save his own life. Because right now, prosecutors want the death penalty for him. If he pleads, that counts as mitigation. It's taking responsibility for one's crimes, and that counts big time in a capital case.
Oh, yeah.
It would also be a giant step toward justice for beautiful Madeline Soto. That sweet, innocent little child never had a chance, in my opinion, as long as her mother had her underneath the same roof as that guy and in the same bed as that guy. That mother should be ashamed of herself. And I will not be surprised if she is charged before this case is all said and done. That's my opening statement. Let me know if you like it. Right now, it's time for your daily docket.
She reported fuzzy feeling like
Stephan Sterns set to be in court for a change of plea hearing one day before his sex abuse trial was expected to begin. That is, of course, our top story for you this morning. Sterns is accused of sexually abusing Madeline Soto, his girlfriend's 13-year-old child. It looks like he's going to be pleading to both the homicide case and the sex abuse case by the...
Now, he pled no contest for the homicide, guilty on the CSAM. We know that now. This was from this morning. I am going to open up another page and see if there's any more current videos. Abraham pointed out that this lady said that Karen Reed was guilty without any evidence, so take what she says with a grain of salt. I don't know much about the Karen Reed case, personally.
Filings that we took a look at, it looks like this is going to be a plea to both cases. And we spoke to WFTV reporter Giovanni Diaz in Orlando about that potential plea. Let's take a listen.
According to our sources here at Channel 9 WFTV, he was able to actually get off the death row, and he is going to end up spending the rest of his life in prison. The defense team wanted to avoid a trial altogether because it would be very hard to not get the maximal penalty for him, in this case, the maximal sentence for him, I should say, in this case, because again, this was a case that left this community here really concerned and on edge.
Okay, so source reporting there.
And we did watch that on Saturday's live, I do believe it was. Sometimes I'm relieved she's gone, just ignoring all these next years of more abuse. Yeah, it's good that she's not going to suffer any more abuse, but I really don't think justice was done. Blue Sapphire says this is not justice. Her life was just starting. She would have been a freshman this coming school year. So heartbreaking. This is wrong. A lot of you saying I don't like her because of Karen Reed. I'm checking other stations. I'll play it for a little bit longer and see what she says. Maybe she's got accurate thoughts on Sterns. I don't know.
From our affiliate WFTV saying that it looks like there may be an agreement as to sentence, but we at Court TV have not confirmed that. So as far as we're concerned, they're still seeking the death penalty until we hear otherwise. Plea hearing set for 1:30 p.m. Eastern time today. We've got our cameras all ready to go.
We have heard that he did plead guilty CSAM, no contest to homicide, for life sentences to be served back to back, which basically means mandatory 100 years. He has the right to appeal within 30 days, but agreed not to, as part of the plea agreement, taking the death penalty off the table.
What can we expect? Let's bring in our legal eagles. I've got with me this morning criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Mario Gallucci, and attorney and former solicitor in South Carolina, also former SLED agent as well, attorney Tommy Pope. Good morning to you both. Great to see you on this Monday. All right, so what are we thinking this morning? Are we thinking that this deal removes the death penalty. Tommy, you many times come on as one of our experts who's done death penalty work in the past. What does this sound like to you, hearing that source reporting?
Okay, I'm going to change this because we've already heard this and we know what all of that is going to be. Let's go back.
Welcome back
Hold
to
on.
Court TV Live.
We watched that. I'm not seeing anything else. This is new. I'm going to see if they talk about it or if it's just a court case, because we've seen that. Yeah, that's just court. Let's see if they say anything on it. I didn't think about law and crime. This might just be the victim impact statements, but
Your Honor, the first will be a written statement from Madeline's maternal grandmother.
yeah, we don't need to watch that either because we'll all start crying again. Okay, I'm going to check again before I go. I think I just checked. Okay. I don't know if we watched this
in
one.
prison without the possibility of parole. That's the sentence for the man in a high-profile case of murder and rape left a 13-year-old girl dead and a family shattered.
Madeline Soto's family and friends gathered at the Osceola County Courthouse to give victim impact statements today. Stephan Sterns changed his plea to guilty of sex crimes and no contest to murder. West 2's David Jones was in the courtroom where emotions ran high. David.
Lily Gal pointed out Maddie, then two teachers at her school for CSAM, which was the secretary and the chorus teacher, got in trouble for charges of CSAM. And then the chief of police had to resign for a cover-up because he was embezzling money or had illegal gambling operations, excuse me. It has been a roller coaster. It really has.
It was a day that brought back many feelings, deep and unsettling feelings for the family and the friends of 13-year-old Madeline Soto. Many spoke today, including Soto's father, all of them asking the judge to impose the maximum sentence possible on Stephan Sterns. And that's exactly what this judge today, sentencing him to life without the possibility of parole. Stephan Sterns accused of raping and killing 13-year-old Madeline Soto. Sterns sat stoic as victim impact statements were read and tissues were passed among members of Soto's family. Sterns was set to begin his sex abuse trial this week until a last-minute plea agreement was reached with the state. Sterns agreed to plead guilty to the sex abuse charges and no contest to first-degree murder charge in Soto's death. In exchange, the state agreed to waive its intention to seek the death penalty in Soto's murder case. Before sentencing, the judge heard from several family and close friends of Soto, including the young girl's father who lives out of state. He says their relationship was strained, but was in the process of rekindling when all this occurred.
Because of the actions of this depraved man, I will never meet the woman she was becoming. And I can't grasp it. I can't grasp the selfishness of you, the deplorability of your actions. You're depraved. You're weak.
Maddie was described today as a happy girl with a witty and outspoken personality, an infectious smile and laughter. A cousin of hers says she was more than a victim. She was a daughter, granddaughter, a cherished young girl who, in her words, was discarded as if of nothing. Throughout all the day today, we did not hear from Madeline Soto's mother, Jennifer Soto. Important to note, Jennifer Soto does not face charges in this case. Sterns pled guilty to the sex abuse charges and no contest to murder, which basically means that while he did not admit guilt to murder, he did accept the responsibilities that would come with a guilty plea. Covering Osceola County, live at Kissimmee, David Jones.
I mean, he had no choice other than to accept the consequences that would come with a guilty plea, but he still pled no contest, and we're not going to talk about that lovely little motherfucking speech that he gave.
West 2 News.
And our live team coverage continues now with West 2's Gail Pascal Brown. And Gail, after the plea was accepted and the sentence was read, Sterns also made a brief statement. Yes, he did. And at the end of his statement, he apologized for all the pain. And he said that he has asked God countless times, prayed to God, that they could trade places, him and Madeline. In other words, take him instead of her. Now, after listening to nearly 10 loved ones of Madeline Soto's call him a monster who took advantage of her innocence and her life, Sterns says that Madeline Soto was a joy. And
I hope that we're not going to paint him out as some type of martyr, because what he said was not in any way, shape, or form to make the family feel better.
that he prays to God that she's in heaven.
I have nothing but sorrow for her loss, and I miss her all the time. Her passing has torn me and my family apart as well, and she truly was a joy.
The judge explained that the court had heard the anger and the fury of shattered families and the community. He then imposed a sentence of life in prison without parole on both the murder as well as the sexual abuse cases. Now, inside the courtroom,
It was his victim impact statement. He was going to get a victim impact statement, and as someone pointed out earlier, by proxy got the last word. It was his victim impact statement, in my opinion, and it was very self-serving.
family and those who weren't family but considered themselves family because they knew Madeline so well, they just wept, they just cried, and they said basically that he took away her innocence, her life, and her joy. Covering Kissimmee and Osceola County, I'm Gail Pascal Brown, West 2 News.
We have been tracking the Stephan Sterns case for over a year now.
And West 2's Sonica Ndange continues our team coverage tonight with a look back at how we got here.
This all started on February 26th of 2024. That's when Madeline Soto was reported missing. Stephan Sterns, the mom's boyfriend, reportedly dropped her off near Hunters Creek Middle School. 2 days later, Sterns was arrested on charges of sexual battery and possession of child sexual abuse material after investigators found photos on his phone. And a day after that, investigators say Sterns was the prime suspect in Madeline's disappearance. Deputies found her body in a wooded area on March 1st, and then 11 days later, on March 12th, 60 more charges were filed against him, many of them related to sexual battery and molestation. It wasn't until late April that the state attorney announced Sterns had been indicted on first-degree murder in Madeline's death.
You know, a name here said, why the fuck did he get a victim impact statement? It wasn't addressed as that. It was he wanted to address the court as what was stated. But yeah, in my opinion, it ended up being a victim impact statement. And if I had to guess, I would say that mommy told him to prepare a speech that he was going to say when he got the chance to say something. I guarantee you, well, allegedly speculating, I think that mommy told him to say that and told him what to say. I do. I really do. Because again, he played the victim. Again, I'm a victim of Maddie's homicide. I didn't want her dead. I would change places with her if I could. I didn't do this. It's not my fault. I pled no contest. Lily Gal said you wouldn't have to miss Maddie if you didn't end the wee soul's life, you bastard. I want to slap his mummy too. Allegedly. Not figurative. Let me say, I want to slap his mommy figuratively, not actually. Let me make that very clear. I do not in no way, shape, or form wish to assault anybody, just in my mind. Thank
Sonica
you.
Ndange, West 2 News.
As we follow this case every step of the way, you can catch up on any details you may have missed. Our previous reporting on Stephan Sterns and the death of Madeline Soto is on our website, wesh.com.
Trying to pause it. This is live, but
Their voices were a little bit lower.
we heard that already. All right, y'all. I'm probably about to go. Take a walk, clear my mind. I think we all need to. Yeah, and we heard that. That's the whole hearing. Oh my God. Florida mom holds vigil by son's side after near fatal crash. Oh no. Somebody sent me that. I want to look into that. All right, y'all. I'm going to go for the day. I appreciate all of y'all, all of your support. You being here while we watch this together, because I could not have watched this by myself. I probably would not be able to come live anymore because I would have broke my computer. Vera said he should have said that we was sorry that he did this and caused so much pain to everyone. I agree. Started over 15 years ago. Street vendor who was killed. It was the last drop over to spill the cup. It started with small protests and it grew. That's how Gaddafi was taken down. Lala says, I feel the same way. I'm not a violent person, but every time I see him or think about him, I have violent thoughts and feelings of hatred, and I hate it. I agree. Shaker Maker said, I'm so disgusted right now. I'm going to bed. It's nearly 10 p.m. here. Just utterly disgusted. I get it. I'm sorry. Why wasn't the grandmother there? Oh, I know the grandmother was there, and somebody gave the victim impact statement on her behalf, but she was sitting in the courtroom. Cleanse your aura, your soul, and thoughts. All right. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. We'll probably go through some more emails and things like that, and go from there. I'm sorry. I hate that it went down this way as well. So we're all together in that anger. I appreciate all of your support. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching this with me and helping me get through it. I hope I was able to help some of you as well. And y'all stay safe out there tonight. If nobody has told you, you are enough. You are important. You are special, and you are loved. And say a prayer for Maddie tonight. Bye.